Let's do it. Let's do it. Testing 1 2 1 2. We are live. We are live. It is Mikey T, the movie star. I am back. What is popping? What is good? I appreciate y'all waiting on the interview God. Appreciate y'all waiting on the most hated yet anticipated. You know how that goes, man. It goes both ways, with the love and the hate and everything that comes in between, man. But we accept it all, man. We accept it all. Sometimes fan mail isn't all good. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes fan mail doesn't go the way you want it to all the way. But I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight because we got a pretty crazy topic that me and the hip hop guys didn't tap in on last night because we were more so focused on the aspect of Suge Knight's conversation with Gilly and Wallow that touched on Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. But there was another very interesting part of that conversation that I want to tap in on tonight, and that is actually the the alleged fact, the alleged story, or pretty much the recordings that we've been hearing of Suge Knight since he has been locked up. Suge has been all over those jail phones, and it's kind of come back to kick him in the ass in the long run. I heard Wack 100 in an interview prior to the $1 million Worth of Game podcast. He was speaking with academics where he pretty much exposed the whole situation of Suge Knight being in a good space. He exposed the situation of Suge Knight being in a good space, but also bragging about it to other people, getting on the phone and bragging about what they've done and the accomplishment they've made, saying, we pressed this guy. We actually got this guy based on money or based on our influence. You know what I'm saying? So Suge Knight sort of dug his own ditch when it came to his trial that Wack 100 is saying he actually had an investment from a company of $30 million for a film, the Suge Knight story, as they say, as well as you guys, $250,000 for Suge Knight's legal defense. So this is what we're going to tap in and talk about tonight. We're going to tap in and talk about the fact that Suge Knight has been doing a little bit more talking from behind the bars than he should have been doing. And even on these interviews, because in the interview, Suge Knight is sort of talking like he's a civilian. Suge Knight is sort of talking like he's an everyday guy. You can't implicate somebody who you were beefing with as to coming to attack you, which he did with Bone. You know what I'm saying? Which he did with this dude who it was made aware by Wack 100 during an interview with Chuck, my guy Chuck from Death of the Clout Chaser, that a recording was taken. A recording was taken of the homie Sloan, the homie Bone. You know what I'm saying? A recording was taken of him that was going to be used in court. You see, this was pretty damning evidence that was going to help Suge Knight. This is information that was actually going to help Suge Knight that actually put Bone in a predicament of wanting to harm Suge Knight. It put a big cloud on the whole defense of the prosecution looking to put Suge Knight away because you could see it clear as day. Vlad actually did an interview with Tom Mesereau, I want to say his name is, and he had actually spoke on Suge Knight's case and how Suge realistically did get bamboozled. You guys, Suge realistically got bamboozled in that whole situation, and but Suge has been through a lot of different situations in his life, in his career, to where it's like, okay, man, this isn't your first offense. You know what I mean? You've been through this system before. You've actually been locked up for a number of years based on parole or probation violations. So it's like Suge had been given opportunities before. Suge had been given opportunities before, so he really wasn't going to be given a slap on the wrist for this whole situation. He had actually said in the interview with Gilly that a normal sentence, if he had not been involved with so many pre-existing things, a normal sentence would have been 6 to 11. And when he said that, I was thinking that he was talking about manslaughter charge that would typically carry, anywhere as much as 10 years in jail. You know what I'm saying? It would carry as much as 10 years in jail. Uh, some people I've read about manslaughter charges getting as much as 7 years. So that's why Suge set a ratio between 6 to 11. Some people get 5 years on a manslaughter case, but Suge had several pre-existing charges, plus a more recent charge from the paparazzi scandal that involved himself and Cat Williams, where they were also trying to put the third strike on him. What up, Hillary? Yo, what up? What up? What up, Louis Peasy? My guy in the building. Definitely appreciate you tapping in. James Hudson, what's going on? I've been waiting to jump on the internet and actually talk about this whole situation. Wack 100 accusing Suge Knight of snitching from behind the wall, snitching during his case, getting on these phones, pretty much getting on these phones and saying that Bone had a weapon. Bone was there to attack him. I believe they went as far as to hire somebody who eventually got, or earlier had got, video evidence from Wack 100, what he was saying about Bone speaking ill of Suge Knight, which was going to drastically help Suge's case. But they just had so much on Suge. Wack said that before Suge's case started, they stopped the proceedings before the trial started because it really did look like Suge was taking that thing to trial, you guys. The way it played out over the course of a few years, they had said, I believe Wack had said 3 years. I don't remember it being that long, but Suge also did say he would be out at this point if he had been charged like a regular person. Hold on one second. Schizo, what's popping? What's popping with you, man? Appreciate my new moderator, Schizo, in the building. And Rico Smith. What's good, Mikey T? Salute to you. Everything is good, man. Just had to jump on this topic because, they're saying one of the notorious, no pun intended, one of the, most infamous figures from our childhood, one of the most infamous record label owners is now being accused of snitching by Wack 100, who is without a doubt on the rise himself. You know what I mean? But I do remember a point in time when I was more popular than Wack 100. So it just can show you how people rise. You know what I mean? Yo, King Cash Beats. What's going on, brother? Appreciate you for tapping in, man. Much love to Majestic. I'd actually just sent him a message recently, man. I wish Majestic the best. Cash, I know you guys are working hard. Y'all have always worked together well, but send Majestic my best, brother. Yo, what up? What up? What up? What up? The Tigo show in the building. You know what I'm saying? This is what we on tonight, Tigo. We on that pancakes. Salute to Burner. Salute to my guy Burner, and much love and rest in peace to my brother cousin Todd for actually introducing me to Burner, bringing me out to the Smokers Club tour, several different dates. You know what I mean? Putting me in the same vicinity as Burner to where I could get to talk to him and shit. Much love to Burner. I wish you well in the future, man. I know you're going through a few things, but it looks like you're handling it all well. And we love your stores out here that you've brought to Massachusetts, man. Salute to Burner and the whole Cookies brand. They got a bunch of dope stuff going on, man. But yeah, the topic today, man, is actually what's been going on with Suge Knight and Wack 100. Suge Knight actually just did a new interview right after Wack 100 did an interview with Academics. Academics had done a second interview with Academics did a second interview with Wack 100, where Wack pretty much explained how he was trying to help Suge. He was trying to help Suge. He was trying to help Suge with his movie. Allegedly, he helped Suge with his book. Apparently, Nick Cannon is going to be doing the book. Apparently, Nick Cannon has jumped behind the book for Suge Knight. So you got to realize, being that Nick Cannon is a major name in the industry. I mean, I believe he was initially put on by Will Smith. I think that is a major, a major backing. It's a major involvement for Suge to have actually with his book. Personally, I don't know why Wack would say that he was going to have Nick do the book while he did the movie. Nick is more in tune with film, in my opinion. Nick actually was being groomed. Nick was actually being groomed as one of the next big actors in Hollywood, So I would have maybe put the reins to the film in Nick Cannon's hand, but we'll see what ends up happening because the director from Training Day, Antoine Fuqua, he had actually done a interview themed movie with Suge, which wasn't all that impressive. It was cool, but you know what I mean? It left more. It left more wanted. You know what I mean? I think maybe they should have done something else. So Lawrence says, do we know if he is a snitch or not? Well, it's most certainly dry snitching. It's most certainly dry snitching, but it's a man telling his truth, Lawrence. You see, Suge Knight that day was attacked. Suge Knight came onto the set, whatever his intentions were. Suge Knight was bombarded by several people, and he fled the scene by what means he believed were available to him. You know what I'm saying? And in doing so, he took the life of an innocent person. Now, Suge Knight, having several other priors, he was going to face a much more severe outcome. I believe if you get 3 strikes in California, it's 3 strikes and you're out. Now, Suge Knight has said, even on $1 million worth of game, he was saying that that Bone, Bone is probably most well known for the scene in Training Day where he helps Ethan Hawke at the end against Denzel Washington. He picks up the gun and he's like, "You good? You can leave." You know what I'm saying? So honestly, that's we know Bone from there, but everything that happened with them, Sugar's pretty much said, and you could see in one video from TMZ. TMZ actually did a video way back in the day where Bone was on the ground because he had gotten hit too, and it looked like more like he got hit in the leg, but he was on the ground and somebody came and took an object off him, a black object off of him, which TMZ said could have also been a cell phone. You got to take certain things. Maybe he took the cell phone to call the police. I mean, that doesn't sound right. Bones man calling the police, but he was in jeopardy. So another point, they had recorded Bone in a vehicle being driven to the set, and he was talking all types of crazy shit about Suge, apparently. He was talking all types of crazy shit on Suge that they were actually going to use as evidence. When Wack 100 heard that this existed, he was going to use it as evidence. Wack 100 heard the recording. Bone or whoever in the car is referencing several other people. So Wack 100 wanted nothing to do with it, whereas Suge was like, "Nah, man, we have this recording, we got to use it." Personally, I don't get why they wouldn't just cut shit out and only use the stuff that Bone is saying about Suge. I'm not sure if that would make the recording inadmissible. The fact that it was doctored and not full, you know what I mean, not the full recording, but I don't see why, they had to use information that was going to get other people potentially indicted in the future. I don't see why they were going to, Wack 100 didn't want to turn over the tape to the police, to the courts, because of what it could have potentially been used for in the future. That's admirable. You know what I mean? That's admirable in ways, so Wack went at it a whole nother way. He went at it a whole nother way by actually going to a company to sell the life rights of Suge Knight's film. Now, we talked about this last night. I was talking about it with the hip hop guys, Twiz, Bonds, Rosewood. And to be 100% honest with you guys, like, I don't really see where a Snoop, why do I keep saying Snoop? Where a Suge Knight movie fits into everything. You know what I'm saying? I think the best way to do it would be make a Snoop Dogg movie next, and 50 Cent's actually going to do the show. I was talking to a couple of my friends after the podcast with the hip hop guys last night, and I don't see where a Suge Knight film fits in. And oddly, Wack 100 and me shared the same information. We shared the same, agreement. Wack said NWA pretty much showed a quarter of the death row's existence. Ice pretty much said the same thing. Tupac's film All Eyes on Me shows another portion of it, and then Snoop Dogg's show with 50 is going to go back and show a whole nother portion of Death Row Saga. What does Suge Knight really have left? It's going to sort of be like after a while when Suge Knight just kept on selling the Death Row compilations. You know, it's really going to make no sense. It's going to be like, Suge, can you please stop selling the Death Row compilations? We've already got all the hot records from Death Row that we want. You know, we've already going to see the Death Row story play out 2 or 3 times before Suge Knight even gets his attempt at doing it. And that's going to water it down drastically. So I really find it odd, you know, and I'm pretty sure, you guys, that the budget, I find it odd that Suge Knight was going to get a $30 million budget for his film. Now, I do believe the budget for Get Rich or Die Trying was $50 million. Let me fact check that. 50 Cent, Get Rich, movie budget. 40 million. Let's see. NWA movie budget was 60, 60 million, and 50s was 40 million. So why would Suge Knight be getting $30 million for his film? I didn't find that credible whatsoever. But the big news really coming from this is that Suge Knight had actually sold his movie rights before. He actually sold the rights to a screenplay and to making his film about his life. And he had actually sold the rights to a book in the past. So Wack 100 apparently went back to the investors and said, listen, Suge has gotten all these other people involved, but can we put a clause in the contract where the profits from Suge will go directly to his separate partners that he has involved himself with? Interesting note from Wack. They vetoed that. They said, Wack, just bring us something else. Just bring us something else that isn't riddled with holes. Suge Knight sold his story so many times. I mean, I don't know if y'all saw it, but he made a whole interview movie with Antoine Fuqua, who had done Training Day. That really wasn't done to meet my expectations because it was pretty much a long format interview, similar to Benzino's movie that he had done. Clear my throat. I'm good. I'm good, man. What are you talking about? What's up, Amir? What's up, Amir? It's our turn, baby. North Philly in the building. North Philly's in the building tonight. Got a lot of love for Philly. Tell you, when I get into the game, yo, I'm gonna come put $1 million into Philly. You heard? When I get into the game, yo, I'm gonna come put $1 million on the block. We're gonna build all types. We're gonna build parks for the kids and shit like that. I'm gonna do a lot of shit for a lot of inner cities, man. I'm gonna do a lot of shit for a lot of inner cities. I got a lot of ambition like that, man. I appreciate Rosewood for being on the team and trying to change everything that he's trying to change, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, nah, Typher, I did that for you, bro. I did that for you, man. We got some shit to talk about, man, because Wack 100 basically broke down that Suge Knight isn't even in jail on no gangsta activity. He said that Suge isn't even in jail on no gangster activity, you guys. He said Suge is in jail, locked up for being scared. I need everybody to share this video. Everybody share this video. If you mess with me now, if you mess with me in the past, if you want to see me come back and take the industry over, share this video, hit that like button. You got the best blogger in the game right now going in. What's good? What's good? What's good? Okay, so Rico has a pretty good statement right here. Rico Smith said, but I feel Suge has a lot of the missing piece. He says, I feel Suge, excuse me 1 second. Just going to send this video to my brother, Bond Simmons. He says, Suge has a missing piece. Okay. I'm going to get to this comment in just 1 second, man. This is, seems like a good comment for debate right here. Seems like we have a good comment for debate. So, but I feel Suge has a lot of missing pieces because everything with Death Row is only from other people's perspective. Everybody paint Suge a certain way, but he does deserve to be heard. Well, Rico, I'm wondering if Suge is even going to be able to call his movie Death Row. Because if he's not able to call his movie Death Row, which he does not own, then and he calls it Suge Knight, it's gonna fall flat. It's gonna be like the Michelet film. It's gonna be like the TLC movie, you know. But with a $30 million budget, I highly doubt it. I highly doubt that it would be as B-rated as I'm thinking. You know what I mean? I would have to think there would be a certain amount of push behind it. I'm not sure what production company is coming in to do Suge's movie, you guys, but honestly, I just don't see the weight that a Suge Knight movie holds. I don't know if you guys remember, but I'd done an interview with Gilly the Kid in the past, and he spoke about the fact that he was potentially going to play Tupac in a movie. You hear what I'm saying? I don't know if you guys go that way, that far back with me to have seen that interview, but I actually did an interview with Gilly where he explained that he was reading a script where he was actually thinking or potentially thinking about playing Tupac. So go check that interview out. That's on my old YouTube page, man. Marcus says Wack is hating on Suge. Um, Wack is hating on Suge. It's just Wack's turn right now. They made a lot of accusations about Wack 100, saying that Wack 100 was a truck driver. Well, for the first time when he was live with my guy Big Chuck on the Death of the Clout Chaser channel, they were on Clubhouse, and then Big Chuck threw it on his YouTube. That's what I believe they did. Salute to Big Chuck for really cornering that market on Clubhouse as well. But he was actually speaking about the whole truck driver thing. He was speaking about what he has done as a truck driver, stating that he actually made like $5 million. I guess the first 5 million came from truck driving. I'm not going to put the figures together, but he's saying he made a good amount of money off of that. You can't hate on a man's hustle. The guy got his shit together. He put together a company and he made it thrive. Right now, Wack 100 actually said some shit that's kind of crazy about Empire, you know what I mean, and about Death Row. Shit's pretty crazy, and about TDE and about his emerging record label. We know Wack has a lot of business associations. We see with the older artists, like The Game, like the Ray J's, but he also has the respect of all these new artists, like in reality, based on his work from the past. I could be a little bit critical about that. A lot of people don't look at Wack 100 as though he's the one who put the game on. We clearly as fans saw how the game got put on. You know what I mean? If you want to bring up Big Face's brother, and if you want to bring up JT Bigger, the bigger figure, that's a whole nother situation. But we all clearly saw how the game got on through his relationship with Dr. Dre, the development of the NWA album, and it turning into the documentary with 50 Cent. We all clearly saw how that happened. And then when he did the second album, The Doctor's Advocate. What's up, Tanya? I appreciate you coming in to the video tonight, man. Just salute to you. Amir says, I feel though Wack doing all this but if Wack talk about Suge in the 90s, Suge would have did something. Well, to be honest with you, Amir, nobody really knew who Wack 100 was in the 90s. You know what I mean? Nobody knew who Wack 100 was in the 90s to actually hear his voice out. That's when Suge Knight really had a strong hold on everybody, a strong hold on the industry. People didn't know who Wack was back then, but they certainly knew who Suge Knight was. You couldn't miss the guy. You know what I'm saying? You could not miss him, even there towering over all of his artists. That's probably why he got a lot of the recognition that he did. Obviously, he used his height and his weight and his size to his advantage in the game. Intimidation, shit like that. You know what I mean? Just who wouldn't be intimidated just meeting the dude, nonetheless having to tangle with him or even argue with him. Who would want to do that? You'd be like, okay, Mr. Suge, we're good on that. Even look what happened to Vanilla Ice. You know what I mean? They say the other guy wrote his record. Wack 100 was saying it was admirable what Suge Knight did for the dude who wrote the record for Ice Ice Baby. If that shit is even true, you know what I mean? If that shit is even true, I really don't know what to make of these stories. You know what I mean? I really don't know what to make of these stories. Is Suge Knight going to really tell the truth about what happened with Vanilla Ice in his movie? Because or are we just going to witness some complete bullshit with Suge Knight going with the real creator of Ice Ice Baby and then being like, hey man, this is the guy who actually made the joint? Or is it going to be like we all heard? Is it going to be Suge Knight grabbing Vanilla Ice and throwing him over the balcony and being like, you going to sign that paperwork? Yeah, you're going to sign it now. All right, bring him back up. Yes, I'll sign the paperwork, Mr. Suge. You know what I mean? Yo, don't be upset that you're not, nobody gives you any credibility to talk about these guys, man. Don't be upset about that, man. Yo, Hillary, what's up? What's up? It's gonna be BS like you said. What you mean, Amir? Expand on that a little bit, brother. Definitely appreciate you tapping in, but expand on that a little bit, you know? Suge got into a situation, you know, Wack 100 was saying Suge got into a situation that was not gangsta activity. He said it was actually Suge Knight being scared that has got him locked up. He said, you were so scared, you ended up taking out your own friend. Suge, as it was revealed after it happened, Suge was actually friends with Terry. They were actually had an association. You know, it turned out that Suge would have never wanted to have hurt this guy Terry, which was even more crazy to me to add to the story, you know, because I thought it was maybe somebody that was involved with attacking Suge, maybe somebody completely random to the incident, which is what I thought it was at the beginning. You know what I mean? One of those two. But it turned out to be somebody that Suge actually knew, had dealings with, knew his family or whatever. But I mean, you could say, well, Mike, that was Suge Knight. Who did Suge Knight not know back then? Suge Knight made it a point to meet as many people as he could to expand his, you know, the ground, expand the ground to death row. That was one thing that Suge was doing. He was always meeting people. I mean, even Bonds said it last night on the podcast. They flew Shay Davis and him and Q Life out. We've heard Juvenile and Young Buck talk about getting flown out. Suge Knight was always, you know, doing things for people. I mean, for crying out loud, let's not shit all over the man's legacy. Look what he did for all the mothers. You know what I mean? On Mother's Day, all the single mothers, he had a whole dinner for him. You got to respect what Suge Knight did in that aspect, and that's why it's even crazier that Wack 100 is pointing out something about probably one of the most gangster people that we all witnessed. You know what I mean? Big Suge. You know what I mean? You got Suge. You got the bad guy was Suge, but the new bad guy was 50 Cent, maybe you could say. If 50 Cent was taken over as the bad guy, I think was the original bad guy Suge, you guys? Let me know what y'all think about that. But you know, Suge just had a really bad reputation in the music industry. You know what I mean? He had a bad reputation with the police, which is why he was pretty much a goner. He was pretty much a goner when it came to this whole case of manslaughter. You know, they didn't want to let him walk on it. It kind of reminded me of the whole situation with O.J. Simpson and his wife, you know, because they couldn't pin whatever they wanted to pin on Suge. They were going to take their second opportunity, just like when OJ got involved in that situation where he had stole back his memorabilia. Yeah, people aren't looking at the good that Suge did. You know what I mean? They're just looking at who he became, and now they're looking at it like, damn, Suge Knight is doing a little bit too much talking. Because Wack pointed it out, you guys, and Suge, who is going on interviews and saying that Bone was there with ill intentions, Bone was there with a piece. That is the conversation that you leave to your lawyer. If you're going to tell your lawyer the absolute truth in the confidence of his office so he's able to defend you in a court of law, that's a whole nother story. But when you jump on interviews talking about, yo, this guy was brandishing this and that, and they were coming to take my life, and you know I had to get up out of there and shit like that, now you're doing a little bit too much talking. Now you're implicating Bone. Leave that to TMZ to put up the video footage of and do the little time beam, and then they pause it and you see the dude take the black thing from Bone, whether it was a phone so he could call 911 or whether it was a weapon because when the ambulances were coming, you know what I mean? Either of these situations, you know what I'm saying? Like either of these situations, you got to let it play out on its own. You're not supposed to jump on there like the lawyer, Big Shug. You know what I mean? We look at you in a whole nother regard. You ain't the lawyer, Big Shug. But you want to know what? It looks like Suge is looking at it like, you know what? I done did this. I did that in the game. People know who I am. I've proved myself in the game. I can do whatever I want at this point. I can go out because look at where he's gonna be in jail now for 28 years. He takes a plea deal for 28 years, which maybe will put him out of jail in maybe 15 if he's lucky. So Suge is gonna be out of jail more than likely in his 70s. So he's gonna have nothing left. And when you have nothing left, you will go to whatever extreme to get up out of there. Take over, take over, take over. Salute to Cali. Salute to Cali. I got to get out there. I'm just waiting for the right opportunity to get out. I'm just waiting for the right opportunity to get out of there. Yo, Maserati, shut your mouth, kid. I ain't never did no bozo ass shit like that, loser. Marcus says, I like this topic. Yeah, man. You know, I like discussing shit when I've actually known about it. You know what I mean? And a lot of shit in this game, I know a lot about, man, because I study hip hop. You know what I mean? I've more than study it, I've sat and watched it happen. You know what I mean? But even last night when I came on and Suge had said something else about Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg during Snoop's infamous trial where he could have lost his whole career and we all could have not known Snoop Dogg for what he has become. You know, guys, I learned something. Sometimes when I learn something, it changes the whole way that I think about hip hop. Like I wondered for years why we didn't get more camaraderie between Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. Don't get me wrong, we got them on the 2001 and their first two albums, The Chronic and Doggy Style. I needed a little bit more though, you guys. You know what I mean? I was a little upset by the second, the third Snoop Dogg albums. A little upset by those, you know. And then as Snoop Dogg went on, he really just stayed by himself, no doubt. You know what I mean? I like this topic. Pac shot his own scene. Z, who's people talking what? Sorry, I didn't get that comment right there, Hillary. My bad. Dre did not even write that. Write what, bro? Dre didn't write what? All right, let me get back to my timeline. So, anyways, so so they had this video footage. It was actual video footage. Wack 100 was saying where Bone was actually saying that he was going to put an ass whooping on him. He said that he was actually going to put an ass whooping on him. They had video recorded footage of that they were actually going to use in the trial. They were going to use it in Suge's trial to prove his relative innocence, that he wasn't acting as a madman, that he was a man acting in desperation. But you guys may have heard it on Big Chuck's interview, or you might have heard it on Academic's interview. But Wack explained before the trial got started, they played I can't remember how many hours. I probably have it written down somewhere. How many hours of footage they actually played of Suge Knight on the phone corresponding with friends, family, this and that about what he had done, to get, responses out of people. You know what I mean? So Suge Knight really dug himself in his own hole. Fat Joe actually tells the truth about Suge. Um, In what regard, brother Marcus? In what regard? Definitely, I'd love to hear that, man. I hadn't seen Fat Joe speaking on Suge. Chris says 2001. Hey, man, I do believe Jay Z. I do believe Jay Z did some writing on 2001 as well, Chris. So you are right about that, about Dre having people write for him. You know what I mean? Maybe even Cube did a little bit of writing for him. Maybe even Cube did a little bit of writing for him. Let me see. Hold on. We got a super chat. Be right back. All right, Tanya. You know, we're all going to be eagerly anticipating your return. I definitely appreciate that super chat. $9.99. That shit is lit. You know, I appreciate you. Anybody else that wants to send a super chat, ask a question, just know if you send a super chat with a question, you get priority over everything. Veta, what's going on? What did you want to know my opinion on? Let me know. And I appreciate all the love you've been sending. Fat Joe actually tells the truth about Suge. And somebody else said something right here. Amir said that so crazy. I was watching Fat Joe interview and he said Suge had the most respect for him and Suge would never rob Fat Joe. Amir, are you talking about when Fat Joe was actually saying that at the award shows, Suge would like sit himself up and all the rappers would like have to literally walk by him in order to enter the award show? Because I do remember hearing an interview similar to that. Definitely appreciate that. Yeah, I remember hearing that shit. I do remember hearing that shit. And honestly, I couldn't believe, Amir, I could not believe that Suge Knight would actually be setting up shop at the award shows and, taking the artist jewelry, I think is what he'd said. Like, who the hell would believe that Suge Knight would be there actually at an award show taking artist jewelry? I could not believe that shit. I cannot. Now imagine me back in the day and I'm going up and I got my chain on and me and my guys has got our chains and our watches on and shit. And we got stacks and Suge Knight is there just collecting everything. We'll give it back to you after the show, Mikey T. Oh, hell no. Hell no. We're going in through the back. Oh, okay, Veta. You'd like to hear what I got to say about Suge's interview with Gilly and Wallow. There was a lot of interesting aspects to it. Like yesterday, I was talking about the whole, Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg trial. The Snoop Dogg trial that Dr. Dre did not attend. That actually interested me because I'd never heard that story before. But then also, Suge broke down a little bit more of how he, involved himself with Snoop's trial, putting up death row, $5 million to save Snoop Dogg. It was very interesting to hear all that. But Suge Knight might be a little bit too little too late in telling the story because 50 Cent and Snoop Dogg are already working on it. And I think they're going to tell a hell of a story that's actually going to change the music industry. I think it's going to change the way that people look at the music industry. I think it's going to change the way that bodyguards are looked at in the music industry, the way that just hip hop musicians in general are looked at in the industry. 50 is on to some big things with this Snoop Dogg show. Maybe it'll be one season. I don't know. Maybe they'll break it down into two seasons, two 8 episode seasons, 16 episodes. I don't see it lasting that long, though. Yeah. Yeah, right. Me either. Never knew Dre wouldn't come for his friend Snoop. A lot of people in the chat yesterday were saying that Dr. Dre looked at it as a business thing. I'm thinking like they actually, from what I saw and read about their relationship, they didn't know each other for that long. Dre had got the demo. Maybe they knew each other for a year or two before that. And, for Dre to put himself on the line and step up in somebody's murder trial, I mean, that's serious shit. That's actually serious shit that a lot of people probably wouldn't want to step up and do. As I said, when I was like 18 years old, I got in caught with alcohol And my friend who was 21 didn't even want to step up, and just say it was his alcohol. So why do you think somebody would want to step up in a murder case when they got their whole shit going on? You know what I mean? Or they're trying to get their whole shit going on. Nah, Snoop Dogg is one of my favorite dudes, Rico. And like he told them, like when he did that little interview when they were like, Snoop, you were 5 hours late. He was like, yo, I was eating chicken wings. Be happy that I'm here. Snoop Dogg is a character, man. Let me see, man. I want to roll something up though. Let me see. Marcus, Suge, the same guy that took Dr. Dre from Easy and Jerry Heller. Suge Knight is the same guy that walked around with 26'5" Bloods. Suge is the same dude that got Tupac, Suge Knight at the Source Awards. Hmm. Damn, Marcus going in. Marcus is going in. All right, I got something right here ready to twist up. About to twist that shit up. Let's get this shit twisted up. I'm gonna get back to my notes. So there was another point. Everybody was talking about it, how Wack 100 was allegedly Suge Knight's driver. They were alleging that Wack 100 was Suge Knight's driver, which is like, okay, does Suge Knight just pick you up? You jump in the passenger, Suge driving? Are you driving Suge? Are you Suge's yes man? Are you Suge's Dutch boy? You know what I mean? All those different scenarios could play out when it comes to Wack 100's relationship with, Suge Knight. I mean, at one point, I had talked to Fredro Starr, and he told me they used to send 50 Cent to go buy Phillies. You know what I mean? Every time they would need some Phillies, they would send 50 to go get some Phillies and shit like that. So you don't know where you're going to end up in the game. Maybe Wack 100 was picking up a little bit of advice from Suge Knight, rolling around with him because he was the guy who had the voice, then not necessarily the voice, but the name that you would respect, and he was picking up game. He was picking up knowledge. He was picking up a way to actually get himself involved, a way to actually maneuver and make a career for himself. Wack 100 ended up doing that, and he ended up paying it back to Suge Knight. Plus that, I would assume. At one point, Suge Knight offered up Wack 100 a chain. I don't know if it was a death row chain. I'd like to assume it was a death row chain. I'd like to think that Suge was giving out those death row chains like Jay-Z was giving out the Rockefeller chains. But it just didn't really seem all that much like that. Didn't really seem like that. I never really saw a performance like how, like, when Jay gave Ye the chain and shit like that. You never really saw that type of shit. But regardless, Wack 100 says Suge offered him a chain. He turned the chain down. Why did he turn the chain down? Because if you accept the chain, that means you got to be there for that dude every step of the way. That means you got to be at that dude's beck and call. He didn't want to open up. Apparently, Wack didn't have that type of relationship with Suge Knight where he could call him to do his dirty work, call him if he needed this or that. You know what I'm saying? Wack 100 kept his distance from what he is saying. He kept his distance from Suge Knight because he didn't want to get played. He didn't really want to get played like he had seen other people get played, I guess. He didn't really want to see himself get played. Amir says, I seen an interview and Snoop is trying to get death row. I saw a headline about that a while back, and we actually addressed it on the show the other night, talking about how if Snoop Dogg actually acquired the rights to death row, he could potentially do a few things with it, like memorabilia. He could honestly even sell death row chains. I think one of the guys on the show said, whether it was a fake chain, you know what I mean, or a real deal Holyfield chain, you know what I mean? Some people were even saying in the chat that artists would sign under Snoop Dogg if he rebranded Death Row as a label. I thought Snoop Dogg was kind of doing his thing with Def Jam at the moment, though. Not Death Row, Def Jam. Rico, decent topic. Decent topic. We can talk about it off the air. We can talk about that shit off the air. What's everybody smoking tonight, man? Let me know what you're all smoking on, man. I want to know what everybody's smoking on. I'm smoking on some Ooh La La right now, official cookies brand. Ooh La La is fire, you guys. It's made by Run the Jewels. I'm not exactly sure who does Run the Jewels. I couldn't really recognize the dude in the picture. But yeah, I'm twisting up one for the show, you guys. Schizo says smart on Wack's part, keep the distance. Anybody wants to send any love, show love by Cash App. You want to show love by Cash App, it's Mikey T Movie. Anybody wants to show some love, definitely appreciate everybody that shows love to the channel, man. Y'all are the best audience for real. I feel like I got the best audience in hip hop. No cap. No cap. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, honestly, I really be connecting with people who watch me. You know what I mean? I can't tell you whenever I go traveling how much I get recognized and shit like that. Even here in Connecticut, out in New York, New Jersey, Virginia, Philadelphia, Florida, Atlanta. I appreciate all the states that really recognize me, man. Ooh, my man Schizo is smoking on them Skittles. Skittles. Okay, I love me some Skittles, brother. And I definitely, okay, Maybach Mel. Maybach Mel, 1804, major salute to you. He's blazing on that Sherblato. Sherblato. Okay, man. Dudes are smoking serious. Dudes are smoking serious tonight. Yeah, smart on Wack 100. Keep the distance. Yeah, a lot of other people would just be consumed by the relationship. You know what I mean? A lot of people get consumed by the relationship. They get overjoyed by being around certain people. It puts them in a predicament to actually do things that aren't in their best interest. You know what I mean? It puts them in a predicament to do things that are not in their best interest. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to sign to the first label that comes across the table. You don't need to sign to the first label that makes you an offer, guys. Sometimes you got to go out there. You got to field, you know what I mean? You got to field offers. You got to see what's going on. That mad Dre bag. What you mean by that, man? You mad that Dre didn't put out the Chronic, the Detox album yet? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Finishing up this Ooh La La right now. You heard? Definitely appreciate all the audience for messing with me, man. Like I said, I got the best audience in hip hop. There ain't no better audience than Mikey T the movie stars audience. One time I even had a girl said she was a Mikey T groupie. I was like, God damn, that's the first time someone ever said that to me. That was in Texas. That was actually in Texas. There we go. We got that shit lit. Now we is lit. Off subject. Yo, Amir, you're gonna have to send in a super chat to be asking the off subject questions, brother. Smoking on this. Ooh la la. You know that shit is fire. Smoking on that ooh la la. Then you know that shit is fire. That's a little Dirk shit. Fa. He be saying fa like that. I remember meeting Little Dirk back in the day, man. It's just like French said. Yeah, he was like a shy dude. He was a shy dude, but that's cool, man. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to be mysterious in this game. I heard Little Wayne say that, and I was like, damn. I was like, Little Wayne is. Smoking on SB also. What's SB, bro? Mikey T. Ponzo was in tour and he performed in Boston. Hell yeah. Ponzo Houdini be making his rounds, man. He be making his rounds. They actually went out to Philly. They did Boston. Damn, I wish I would have went on that tour with them, man. I wish they would have given me the invite, to be honest with you, man. But, you know, sometimes dudes don't really be messing with me like that, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't get it. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I'm the best doing this shit. I feel like I'm the best doing this shit, but sometimes you don't get them calls from everybody that you think be fucking with you actually. Like I'm shocked. Like China Mac be calling when it be meaning something. So major salute to China Mac. Dudes like that really be Compton Menace be reaching out to you when it's the most unlikely of times. You know what I mean? I really appreciate shit like that. But nah, man, Ponzo Houdini is killing it. You know, I think he moved down to Atlanta. He got a record with Icewear Vezo. He's been keeping contact on his career, and he's been keeping moving, man. Like he was in Boston, man. That's what you got to do. Like, you know, I'm not, some rappers be coming to Rhode Island and don't even be hitting me up. You know what I mean? They be coming to Connecticut and don't even be hitting me up. It's weird, but it's whatever. I don't be harping on that shit. Y'all know, I think y'all know that by tuning in with me, I got a pretty busy schedule. Yo, the real great grandson. I'm grandson. I'm grandson. I'm grandson. Yeah, man. Yo, Hammer Zoe, what's popping with you, G's? Appreciate you for tapping in tonight. This is the Kush Smoke Hour. You know what I'm saying? The Kush Smoke Hour. Not that, not that shit. What did Everything good, man. Everything good. I'm just grinding. You know what I'm saying? We came on here. Had to talk about Suge Knight and Wack 100. Had to talk about it, man. I think we're about to be joined by the homie Bond Simmons. I think we're about to be joined by the homie Bond Simmons. You know, he actually got flew out by Suge Knight. Like, you know how you heard all the stories about Suge trying to sign, you know what I mean? Suge trying to sign Juvenile, bringing them out there, putting them in hotels. Oh, word. On tour with your homie Omega Red. All right, man. Put me on game, man. Send me something on the DM on my, on Instagram from Omega Red, bro. Put me on game, Maybach Mel. Let me bring my guy Bond Simmons in. Bonds, how you living, geez?
What's shaking, Brody? What's the word, my guy?
Recovery, day 2. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Up and down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I had to hit Shay Davis up today, man, because the internet is going crazy about Shay Davis, man. He's just been doing like 5,000 hits every other day on my page, and then it just went up. The other day it went up to 6,500 every 2 days. Now it's up to 8,000 every 2 days. It's like people are checking for Shay Davis right now.
Yeah, what you posted something?
Nah, it was like a minute ago, but the shit is just like doing crazy numbers.
Nah, that's a fact. Yeah, that's what's up. Bro.
But yo, man, there was something we actually missed. I was gonna call you a little bit earlier. There was something we actually missed last night, man, in this whole conversation. And it was actually what Suge Knight was saying about Sloan, about Bone Sloan.
What he said?
Now, you know who Bone Sloan is. He's probably most popularly known from the Training Day movie when he
Oh yeah,
saved
yeah, yeah.
Ethan Hawke at the end. Remember, he grabs the gun and he's like, "You good? You good, man?"
I know who you talk about.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Him and Suge apparently had beef. Why Suge is beefing with a extra? Why Suge Knight is beefing with a movie extra?
Yeah, but nah, son is not really just like an extra though. He
Nah,
he really he really a homie from out there in the jungle though.
right.
I mean, so yeah,
Now, Bonds, there was one point. So I'm listening to an interview with Wack 100. He was talking to one of our guys, Death of the Clout Chaser, Big Chuck. You know, he's been on the channel a bunch of times. And he said, Suge is telling, Suge is pretty much snitching because he's saying that Sloan Bone basically came at him with a weapon. He's saying that he came at him with one of them things. He's saying he came at him with a gun on,
when
on an interview. On interviews, he's saying it on jail calls. He's telling everybody that'll listen, but I'm saying that's kind of his lawyer's job, Bonds. Suge
yeah,
Knight shouldn't be on interviews saying that this guy approached him with a gun because that's snitching, isn't it?
yeah. I mean, it ain't like I ain't gonna carry like he went and made a police report and got an order of protection and all that, but yeah, like I don't know what was his purpose for saying that though. Why is he saying that? He's saying why is he saying that? What's his point though?
Because it was manslaughter, because the case was
Oh,
manslaughter.
oh, oh, he's saying that's why he's saying son pulled the gun. Oh yeah, then that is yeah. Maybe that yeah. I could see how that could be looked at as snitching. Yeah.
I mean, yo, when you go into a room and you talk to a lawyer, like, and you tell the lawyer what happened, like, yo, this guy done pulled a weapon on me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's why I broke out of there, and
Yeah.
that's why what happened has happened. You know what I mean? This guy was targeting me that day. And then Bonds, they even had recorded Bone in a car on the way to the Straight Outta Compton movie saying that he had ill intentions for Suge Knight. And they were going to use this recording. Wack 100 got a hold of the recording, but in the recording, they had said several other shit that would have implicated other people in crimes that could have later got them indicted. And Suge Knight was like, let's use it. Let's use it. It's gonna help me. And Wack was like, hell no, man. I want nothing to do with this. I'm not gonna give I'm not gonna give over this recording that could potentially put people's life in jeopardy. And Suge was basically saying, let's use the damn footage. I don't care about none of them. Now, in regard to that, Bonds, I say, why not just take the footage and only put the part where Sloan is saying that he wanted to beat up Suge Knight?
Put the footage where?
In the lawyer's hand.
uh, I guess.
I mean, if they doctor the footage, is it inadmissible? Like if they cut out all everybody else talking and then they just have the one part of Bone talking about Suge, would they not be able to use it or something?
Uh, I'm not entirely sure about that. They probably would. I mean, then then anyway, if it was other pieces out, then the prosecution could always use that same tape too. The evidence would be available to what I'm saying, both parties or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Mike Hanks said it right here. He was saying Bone pulled the heat, so that's why he was driving crazy. Suge saying that is snitching. Suge should leave
but I mean,
Suge should leave that in the hands of his lawyer and places like TMZ. TMZ had a video of somebody coming over to Bone and taking a black object from him. TMZ said it could have been a phone, but it could have also been a piece.
yeah, but Suge gotta defend himself. He gotta defend himself. I mean,
It was lawyer.
he can't. I don't know whether him. You know what I'm saying? That's like, so if he don't say why he was driving a radical, like, you know what I'm saying, like, so come on, like, if he gonna say somebody, listen, niggas pulled out, I got out of there, like, nah, I'm not gonna say that snitching for him saying that, like, you know what I mean, like,
So to go on interviews, you're saying to go all over the internet and say
it's
that Bone pulled a
crazy
piece on him.
he is than he is saying the dude. I don't know about that one, man.
Now there is the other part with Suge wanting to use the video footage that they filmed of Bone that could have implicated several other people. I think that could have rubbed Whack 100 the wrong way as well. That Suge would have put all the other people's life in jeopardy.
And other dudes too, like, it's like, I mean, you know, I don't know. That's one of them situations he got to, you know what I'm saying? That's one of them situations I ain't gonna judge, man. Just glad I ain't got nothing to do with that shit, bro.
Yeah, like right here, N4L says he's facing 28 years. And I was I was talking about it before you came on. Suge Knight is going to be home probably when he's 70 years old. You know, at this point, he probably realizes that he's going to have nothing left. So he might as well do what he has to do to get home.
Yeah.
At least that's what I thought was thinking. But he took the 28 years when they presented all types of information to him, like, yo, we have all this recorded shit of you saying that you pressed this guy in order for him to mess with you or in order to him take his statement back, etc. You know, they basically threw all that at him because Suge was on the phone. Suge was on the phone like, yo, we got this shit on lock. The boys went over. The boys went over and pulled the dude's card, and now he ain't going to show up. So Suge, knowing that they had already done that, Bonds, got on the phone and bragged about it.
Come on, man. That's what I'm saying. Like,
What the hell was he thinking? Didn't he know what he was doing?
that's crazy, man. I can't call these dudes, man. I don't know.
What are you saying, Mike Hanks? What are you saying, Mike Hanks? Rephrase your question. I can't really understand it. But let me get back to this. So uh so So Whack 100 was basically going on about how Suge Knight could have really just fought Bone. He could have got out of the car. He could have fought Bone that day. And then his friend wouldn't have lost his life and he wouldn't be doing all that time in jail right now. Um, Wack went on. He's saying the stuff that we were doing had people scared of you. You went to college. No one banging from that era made it to college. Our college was the pen.
The Whack is crazy. Whack is.
He's taking a shot at him for having gone to college.
Yeah, Whack is crazy. Whack is for the Whack is on gang time, man. If you're gonna do it, man.
So this is what I was reading. Wack had said the first day of trial was the first day that he took a deal. He said, "What makes someone take a deal after 3 years of waiting to go to trial. You know, we all saw what happened. Suge was crying. He didn't have any privileges. He was on the phone calling Wack apparently every all day. This is what Wack said in an interview. Um, so for 45 minutes, he was played phone calls incriminating himself. And they say they have him incriminating himself for over 100 hours. And they were going to add tampering, and arrest several of his family members, and that's why he took the deal for 28 years. Um, yeah, so they were gonna about to arrest family members of his. They were about to add tampering charges, witness tampering, which we saw Dark Low just get 7 years for.
Yeah, and they use that to put the squeeze on them to make them take that deal they wanted them to take, put them out, get that conviction, get them over with, get them,
Um,
tuck them away.
what do you think about that though, Bonds? 28 years. Uh, he accepts 28 years. How long will he realistically be out of jail in?
20 something.
At least 20.
I,
Oh, 2035 probably.
something crazy, probably. If you do that whole thing, that's 20. That's 20 something, 24, 25.
Yeah, it's really crazy, man. And Wack said that he could have beaten the case with that tape recording that they had of Bone. Because someone that was working with Suge, a private investigator who was posing as a driver, I guess, he had got that behind Bone's back. Now, Bonds, do you think that would have really helped his case? Do you think he would have potentially beat the case if he would have kept his mouth shut and then they would have presented that evidence?
I mean, I don't know about because what exactly did they charge him with? What was all the charges like? What was the charge that he?
He got attempted, and then he got actual manslaughter, maybe even attempted murder, but I think it might have been reduced to manslaughter. I'm not 100%, but he got attempted for Bone for hitting him as well.
Uh,
And,
yeah,
and then they were going to charge him with tampering as well, throw more felonies on him.
he might have could have beat that or something, and then wind up getting a manslaughter for hitting dude or something like that.
Oh,
Probably about half that time or something.
interesting. Yeah, you say he could have probably beat the incident with Bone, but he ultimately would have had to cop out for what happened to Terry.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't gonna just let the body go, man. It's like, bro, somebody passed away from this incident. You know, somebody's gonna have to pay for that.
Crazy, man. Rest in peace. That's crazy because this dude, Dirty Black, said that dude was managing him. The dude that got ran over that day.
Harry? Oh, okay. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I'd heard afterwards, whatever, however longer later it was, that Suge actually knew this guy. They had some sort of a relationship. It was like crazy because I would have thought it was somebody that was there surrounding his vehicle or even just an innocent bystander at first.
Yeah, and he kind of was an innocent bystander.
But Wack said that you tainted everything you had in your favor, all because Suge got on the phone telling people that he had other people pressed, saying that he sent someone to be paid or to be pressed, and saying this on the phone like he was at home or something, Bonds.
Yeah.
Now, Wack went on saying that after Suge had got shot, I'm not sure which incident he's talking about. There was a couple of different incidents where Suge had got shot. That Suge wouldn't even move unless Wack came to pick him up. Wack said, "We watched you get violated 3 to 4 times and nothing happened." These are some serious shots, Bonds.
Yeah, yeah, sounds serious.
What do you make of the no retaliation? I mean, honestly, you can't really say nothing about no retaliation because I heard some crazy shit after Pot died, that happened in Cali. But what do you make of the stuff of like Suge getting knocked out and Suge getting shot at Kanye West party? Like it was kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, Suge is at the end of the day, Suge is a man. Suge had that image kind of larger than life, so I'm sure everybody was taking swings and shots at him, man. Like,
Especially when they got the opportunity to, because at first you could not get around him.
yeah, so you know what I mean. I ain't gonna say the nigga was soft. That's what Wack would have said. That's how you feel.
Yeah, Wack said if Suge comes home, his best shot is to do a movie. Now he doesn't own the Death Row name. He doesn't own Death Row anymore. So I don't think they could really call his movie Death Row Bonds. What do you think?
Nah, they could still, they don't gotta call it that photo. They could call it, Suge Knight story.
They is not gonna call the movie Suge Knight. Nobody's gonna see it.
Okay, I would see it.
Even if it's just called Suge Knight.
Yep, I watched it.
Bro, it's gotta be called Death Row.
It could be called Death Row.
I don't know if it can be called Death Row, man.
Something like not just Death Row, like like building
Okay.
row, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
So this didn't make much sense to me. Wack said that he had actually spoke and got Nick Cannon to actually do the book deal for Suge Knight, which is kind of a big deal. He said, Nick Cannon, you handle the book deal, I'll handle the movie deal. But wouldn't it have been a little bit better for Nick Cannon to handle the movie deal potentially? Isn't he a little bit more, like known to that territory? This is Will Smith's young boy we're talking about.
maybe, yeah. I mean, that makes sense. But maybe he already had a situation, though. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Probably already had something lined up.
Yep. Wack 100 said he had a $30 million lineup for the Suge Knight movie. And he also had $250,000 for the attorney fees to help with Suge's case. Now, Wack said, yo, he didn't need $5 million for Snoop Dogg's case. I only had $250,000 for his case. What do you think about that, man? Is Suge Knight kind of running off a little bit with that $5 million number?
Shit, I mean, if you got them big Hollywood lawyers that's gonna, kind of guarantee something with the judge, you know what I mean, and all that. Like, you can't put a price tag on freedom. How much you think OJ spent? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. And another thing I want to point out, Wack 100 said, okay, just because you spent $5 million on Snoop on attorney fees, that doesn't mean you're ever going to get that money back. That was misleading because they didn't expect to get the money back based on that. They expected to get the money back based on Snoop Dogg's career bonds.
Which they got back tenfold.
They got it back times 100. You know what I mean? Like probably even Suge Knight got it back times 50. You know what I mean? Just off all the money he made off of them. But no, I don't. Nobody is thinking, okay, Bonds catches a major charge. Bonds needs $5 million to beat it. We just because Bonds beats the charge, we don't think we get the money back from the lawyers.
Facts.
You get the money back from the career you make from that. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know why Wack 100 was saying all that about Snoop Dogg. Nobody expected to get the money back. Like, that didn't seem like that intelligent of a thought from Wack 100 to me. Like, Snoop Dogg is a walking billboard, Bonds.
Snoop is an icon living.
Yep.
I think it's an icon living.
Snoop might be the most recognizable hip hop artist alive. What do you think, Bonds?
I ain't gonna argue with that.
The most recognizable hip hop artist alive. Recognizable. You know what I mean? You know who he is when you see him. There's no denying who. You don't mistake him for another rapper. You know what I mean? Like sometimes, what did one of them guys? These guys be getting mistaken for people all the time out there. There's so many new rappers out there, Bonds.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, Snoop is a icon.
Yep, and prolific. Did you see that joint with Snoop where he got mad at the interviewer and he was like, "Man, I was getting chicken wings."
Nah,
Yeah,
nah,
the
never.
interviewer was trying to make conversation with the interviewer was like from a European country, and he was trying to make conversation with Snoop Dogg about, just about how he had a hard time with the customs. And he was like, "You're 5 hours late." And Snoop Dogg's like, "Man, I just got here and you're telling me that I'm late." He's like, "Man, what the hell's wrong with you? You should be lucky that I'm here." And he was really just trying to make a little conversation with him about how rough it is going through customs and shit like that. But Snoop
Yeah,
Dogg completely misunderstood it, Bonds.
yeah, Snoop said, nigga.
Snoop was like, "Yo, I was late because I was getting chicken wings."
Facts.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Yo, Tyler, appreciate you, man. Yeah, Hit Squad, they recouped through Snoop's albums majorly, man. I mean, Death Row really only got 2 Snoop Dogg albums. You know what I mean? They eventually got the Dead Man Walking album too. Do you remember that joint they put out, Bonds?
Nah.
You don't remember the Dead Man Walking album? It was kind of only distributed by Death Row, and it was unauthorized Snoop Dogg album.
Mm. Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember they did put out an unauthorized Snoop Dogg album.
What'd you say?
I said I did remember they put an unauthorized Snoop Dogg joint out.
Yep, and they actually sold over 200,000 units first week with
Yeah.
that. But I mean, them doing an unauthorized Snoop Dogg album, what could you say about that? Could you tell it was kind of the beginning of the end, or
Yeah, I don't think you ever seen nothing like that.
yeah? I
Uh,
mean, JT the Bigger Figure did it with the game, kind of.
right.
Remember the Untold Story album that he
Yeah.
released
That's
literally
like he
what
did.
what did he release it the same week as the documentary
Yeah.
almost?
And you seen artists put their own album out, kind of like 50 kind of did that with the Power of the Dollar. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that Guess Who's Back, because I believe, I think that was not officially dropped too.
Well, Ludacris did it as well. I mean,
Yeah. But
Ludacris did
not,
it with
not on other artists. It was like, you know what I mean?
Ludacris just sort of timed it with the Fast and the Furious movie
Okay.
because he knew he would be doing a lot of press when the movie released, so he dropped an album right at the same time and sort of worked it together. He sold 38,000 units that week.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah.
Extra check.
Right, exactly. So you know what I mean? Like if he didn't have an album, there wouldn't have been nothing there. If he would even if he would have had an album 3 or 4 months earlier, the promotion really wouldn't have been there.
Right. Type shit. Yeah.
Yeah, Luda's a smart dude, man. The way I would like to see him do some more films, man. I would have liked to have seen him really beef up some of the roles, you know what I mean? Take a
Yeah.
further step into it, but Luda's probably got a shitload of money.
Yeah. Yeah. I fuck with Luda.
Hell yeah, man. Luda or Ti
It's probably
as a rapper?
Ti.
Ti?
Because I think Ludacris is a good rapper. You know what I'm saying? But if you
Yes.
want to go album wise, like artist wise, I'm probably like more Ti. You know what I mean? Joints than Luda. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy shit when they were actually beefing, because I was thinking that Luda really had shut him out when he jumped on Young Buck's album. He was like, "Stay off the TIP of my dear."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I thought he shut him down right there. I'm not sure if Ti really ever came back at that diss properly, but Ti's album sales spoke for themselves, man.
Yeah. Yeah. He did his thing after that. Man.
because they had cut Ti from that record called Stomp on
Right.
Young Buck's album. They replaced him with The Game, which
Right.
good business move by 50 Cent.
Um, he bet on. I guess he still Ludus definitely went on to do his thing. I guess 50 would regret it now because of Game. You know what I'm saying? How things transpired with Game. So of
Yeah.
course he wish he would have. You know what I'm saying? Put Ti on and not had Game on it, but
Well, that would have been one of the first time two rappers were actually dissing each other on the same song.
right. And
But
that was the
Luda's
thing. Ti was like he didn't hear that he didn't hear his verse first. Like,
well, Ti said some shit like, "You going up against me? That's ludicrous."
yeah, he was just dissing him. He didn't think he said Luda heard that verse, and then he got a chance to write his verse. So that's why his shit was
Yeah,
hard.
yeah. Yo, even Luda going at Drake. Do you remember? Do you remember he was like, I'm Prada and you Macy's. What did he say? Something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Prada and you Macy's.
Yeah.
Basically saying like Drake was like the shit you could go get at like the regular brands, you know what I mean? JC
Common,
Penney's, Macy's.
Common went at Drake too.
Oh yeah, but what did he say about Common? He was like something about can no, no, no. What it Common said something about Canada Dry with him.
Yeah,
Was that
something.
his song
Yeah,
title or something? Canada Dry?
yeah, yeah. With the Canada Dry.
Oh,
With the Canada Dry.
oh no, no, no. I remember what Drake said. Drake said, I remember a time when you didn't have to reach to sell their records. Remember? He
Yeah.
said, I
Then
remember
they was
a time.
beefing Serena or something,
What? Oh, Serena. I
man. Yeah,
guess that what an amazing movie about those two girls, Venus and Serena, man.
yeah. About the father, I gotta see that.
Oh yeah, it's called King Richard. You should
Yeah,
definitely go check that out, man. Definitely an amazing movie, man.
yeah, I gotta see that.
You see what else we got here, man. Let me see what else we got here. I wrote down several things. Um, so yeah, so Wack was actually saying, when the whole thing came up of Suge was like, they had guns, they had guns. Wack was saying, Wack was saying somebody like Puffy could do that. He's saying somebody like Puffy could do that, but Suge Knight cannot do that.
Oh, man.
And they tried to go at his claims of trucking. I kind of already went over that. Suge Knight sort of brought up, or Whack 100 brought up how he had made a lot of money off of a trucking company when he first got out of jail.
That's what he said?
Yeah, they're trying to clown on Whack for having like a real job and shit like that, which is whack. You know what I mean? It's whack to clown on somebody for having a job and shit like that when
Yeah,
you're
yeah. I
in
mean, yeah.
jail,
It's
when you
whack.
when you
So
ruined
they
when you
like
ruined
period.
$100 million label bonds and you're clowning somebody for having a job.
Real shit. Yeah, yeah, man.
Let me see what else we got here. Oh my god. You wouldn't believe some of the shit that Whack 100 brought up about Suge Knight, saying that basically guys like Irv Gotti and him would have to pool together money so that Suge Knight would have a room to stay at for several weeks at the Holiday Inn.
That's what Wax at.
Yeah, that's what Wack said. They would pool him, people like Irv Gotti in 2005. Irv Gotti and them would pool together money so Suge could actually have a place to stay. But when Suge would do something like sell the rights to his movie, when Suge would sell the rights to a book, because Wack had said he did this 5 or 6 times over, then Suge would go stay at the Ritz. Suge would go stay at the elaborate places and blow through his money. You know, after these guys came together and put cash so he could sit his ass up at the Holiday Inn for a few weeks.
I mean, it's two sides to every story, man. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, I remember being at that Holiday Inn, man. We bombarded the breakfast buffet.
I mean, I don't know. Whack is. Yeah, man. I ain't saying Wack not. I don't know. Yeah, man. What was Wack at before though? Like, what was Wack at though?
Uh, well, he says Suge was calling Wack every day, saying we need you over here. Wack said that he was staying away from that situation, playing Suge because he didn't want Suge to think he didn't want Suge to be like, "Yo, I can always rely on Wack." At one point, Suge offered Wack a chain, and he denied it.
A Death Row chain?
I'd like to believe it was a death row chain, man, but who knows what kind of chain it was. I
What?
don't think Suge was giving away death row chains like Jay.
All right, so where Wack was at? Like when Pac was around and all of that. Like he was in. Where you say he was at?
I'm not sure if he was in jail when that happened, but I mean, it's no doubt, Wack wasn't in the music industry to my knowledge at that point. Like, uh, I don't what does that matter really, Bonds? Like where Wack was when Tupac was,
Now,
all
now I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like when I'm just trying to see like how, you know, well does he know Suge? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like the only reason I don't mean to get too outlandish on the show, but the only reason Suge was able to go get Tupac is because Jimmy Iovine was treating him like 50 Cent at the time. Suge Knight was like Jimmy Iovine's 50 Cent back then. Anything that Jimmy Iovine wanted to turn to gold, he'd give it to Suge. He'd be like, all right, if Suge touches this project, it's going to be hotter. It's
Yeah,
going to work.
but Snoop was already winning, and he had Dre as well too. So he had the winning formula. So when he went and snatched Pac,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Was able to use Jimmy Iovine money to do it. Like, I guess I don't know what I'm saying, but
That was Suge's reign, though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that Whack 100 had anything to do with the game coming out. I think the majority of people know that it was Dr. Dre and 50 Cent. You know what I mean? People say what they want to say about Big Face, his brother, and about JT the Bigger Figure, but I think it was
yeah,
Dr.
well,
Dre and 50 Cent.
so I'm sure whoever was working with him and all that stuff. Like as far as getting a deal, yeah, it was probably them people as far as getting a deal, but you know, creating the music and the artists up until that point, like you know what I'm saying, I'm sure all them people had probably something to do with it. Like it really was, you know what I'm saying? Probably a situation before it even got to, you know, something that be signed, you know what I mean, by 50 and Dre and all that.
Well, I mean, now Whack 100 is making his name. Now he's making his name. Like he says, the West Coast has Empire and the West Coast has TDE, and he's coming up right now. This is when he's getting his opportunity, man. That's why I say, who cares about where he was when Tupac was coming out? Who cares when the game was coming out? It's about what he's doing now.
Nah,
He brought Blueface over to Cash Money. He's making whatever money with academics, friend. You know what I mean?
yeah, but I'm just, I'm saying in regards to Suge Knight, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because if you discrediting Suge, saying, this and that about, his life, not saying that I'm here to vouch for Suge. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm just wondering, what I'm saying, how much do you know that man for you to say it? You know what I'm saying? Because you're saying a lot. So it's just a question, really. Like,
I think Suge Knight probably wanted to use Whack Hunt 100 like he used several other people. You know what I mean? That's why he was uh, giving him a chain. But I mean, I don't know what I use, you know what I mean? Because Whack 100 was obviously able to build off of his relationship with Knight as well and make relationships
yeah,
and get his name in the industry to a certain extent.
yeah. Dre had it just Suge. Suge was the businessman. He had them under contract. He was death row, so they had the talent, but as far as Jimmy Iovine was concerned, he had to do business with Suge Knight.
Yeah. Yep. That's who he respected at that time.
Yeah.
Do you think Jimmy Iovine regrets that? Do you think he was like, wow, man, I was really a fool?
Well, him and Dre is right now still rocking. So, you know what I mean?
Do you think they say like, "Damn, we were a fool for rocking with Suge Knight," or do you think they're like, "Well, we had to do what we had to do"?
Yeah, probably a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I asked the question, how could Suge Knight have made this work? How could Suge Knight have not destroyed his empire? The only answer I really got, Bonds, is by being by being a nicer guy.
I mean, just by not, you know, getting caught doing the things he was doing, not letting his ego get the best of him. So, um, probably was just a certain mindset. Know what I mean, yeah, wish he would have, took advantage of that opportunity, building that dynasty, and but look at all that stuff that happened, bro. It's too many ifs. Cause look at Pac died. Like, come on, man. Like, it's too much ifs. So
Kicked Dre out like it was gonna be okay.
yeah,
From
uh,
what they were saying at one point,
but look,
Suge Suge had people run in Dre's house and take all the drives.
yeah, but look how he got. That's what I'm saying. He acquired everything that he got like that. So I mean, what are you gonna say? Like, if he wasn't that person, he wouldn't have been able to build Death Row and then ultimately hang himself. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep, beefing with Snoop, beefing with Snoop. Yeah, I mean, he should have kept Snoop happy for sure, but it seemed like he was just so eager to take Pac's side against Snoop. Or is that not right, Bonds? Was he not going to take one another's side on Bonds probably just logged himself on accident. But yeah, beefing with Snoop Sinatra, appreciate you for tapping in, man. He really screwed up beefing with Snoop as well. Beefing with one of his artists, his last artist, yes,
yeah,
but more than just an artist because he was an artist, but then also a part of a group. So that's two different sales right there.
okay.
You know what I mean? Because he kind of alienated the dog pound as well, even though they stuck with him. But I mean, the dog pound really wasn't the same force without Snoop Dogg.
Uh-huh.
But yeah,
If you got beef with the big T, and he had the East Side Snoop Dogg's. Snoop
the East,
Dogg.
what was it called? The East Siders.
Yeah, that was in there, right?
I believe it was called the East Siders.
Ray D, Goldie Loc.
Did they release on Death Row too?
Uh,
Maybe not. Maybe not. He might have did that out. Did he do that outside of Death Row?
I don't even know if they. Yeah, he did drop a Snoop Dogg East Side album. I don't know. Yeah, he might have did that.
Definitely did an East Siders album. Let me
He
see.
might have did that himself. I hope he did, man.
No, I hope Suge did it for him, man. Because like that would just show me that at least Suge was doing things. At least it was Doghouse and TVT, bro. He actually did that with an East Coast label.
Okay.
I mean, from what I know, TVT is an East Coast label.
If you got beef.
Wow. It hit Billboard going to number 8. The East Side's album selling 100,000 copies its first week.
So,
Those are some numbers right there, man.
yeah, that's good numbers. Good work.
Yo, 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 yo. Appreciate you for tapping in, George.
Salute, King.
Bonds refuses to agree with us. Suge Knight defending himself as being called snitching. I can't help but agree with him a little bit. You know what I mean? But I think he should have just not said it in so many damn interviews. You
Yeah.
know, just like he sort of screwed himself over by getting on the phone in jail like he was on house arrest and on a burner phone and telling people that he was in the clear. You know what I mean? He should just be a little bit more reserved. You know what I'm saying? He should leave it to his lawyers to talk about Bone showing up to his car. with a weapon, threatening his life. We don't want big bad Suge in an interview or every interview crying wolf, man. It just kind of takes away from that reputation. And you know what I mean? And a lot of people just won't believe it, Bonds,
Yeah,
because of the reputation.
yeah.
He's got a reputation. I had some notes right here. He said he could have got 6 to 11 years in jail if he hadn't been involved with so many other cases. And he would technically, for this charge, he would have been out already.
Damn. Yeah, man. You know, free the men, man.
Real gangsters move in silence. What happened to that motto?
Yeah, the internet, YouTube, Instagram happened to that, champ. Followers and likes.
Yep. Telling the world about your every move in life on social media is what happened to that.
Yeah,
You
social
just
media happening, champ.
He was just so eager to talk to somebody, Bonds.
Yeah, man. All up in the videos,
All up in the interviews,
in the interviews,
all up in the documentaries, all up on the police phone.
all up on the phone.
If you want your CEO, all up in the documentary, all up in the police phones, all up in your video interviews.
Yeah,
Come
man.
to death, come to death row. That's DEFROW, because he doesn't own death row anymore, so he's gonna have to resort back to death row.
Fuck up.
Bonds. I heard people write in journals to vent.
Yeah, of course. They write music, they write raps too.
Yeah, but I mean, come on. A guy got to know he's being recorded on that phone right there, man. It says it every 3 or 4 minutes. You are being recorded by a federal facility. I got him, man. I got him. He ain't showing up to that court case, man. You are now being recorded by a federal facility. You heard me, man. He ain't showing up to that shit, man. I'm good. I'm gonna be home. Get the cigars ready, baby. You can't be doing that shit, man.
Man.
You can't be that excited. You know what I mean? Suge honestly probably did have a case. The dude who represented Michael Jackson went on Vlad and said that Suge Knight's case was pretty much bullshit, you know? And I think Suge really did have a fight to get out. But from what Bonds was saying, he would have ultimately had to answer for the other body as well. They couldn't have called that collateral damage, Bonds. They couldn't have been like, well, he had to get out of there or else they were going to end his life. So
Yeah, I mean, anything's possible. Things possible.
yeah, man.
I'm about to tap out on you.
All right, Bonds. Enjoy your night, bro. Appreciate you for tapping in as always. 1/4 of the hip hop guys. Salute Bonds for tapping in, man. Always appreciate his perspective. Bonds probably gonna get back to his grind. He's got t-shirts, he's got clothing, he's got albums and shit he be doing, and he has a whole YouTube channel as well. So tap in with my G as well. BONDSSIMMONS. Y'all can tap in with him on some shit. Oh, George said Bonds was on that setup. Bonds is a heavy weed smoker, man. Bonds is a heavy weed smoker. I don't know if he be on that lean like that, man. That shit ain't no joke, man. You know that Gucci, man, that goo-wop. But yeah, man, this whole situation is pretty crazy when you look at it. We've been breaking it down for like the last hour and a half, last 90 minutes. I hope y'all are enjoying tonight's podcast. SBS was popping with you, man. Appreciate you for tapping in tonight. The childhood boogeyman is on the phones talking as much as he can. Our childhood boogeyman is on the phone talking as much as he can. And you know what? It's like he's got to get in every single detail. You know what I'm saying? It's not like me calling my friend. You know what I mean? It's not like me calling my homie. You know what I mean? And telling him about what's going on my there's nothing wrong with me calling somebody and telling them what's up. But when you know you are involved in an active case as serious as what Suge Knight is going through, as serious as what anybody else is going through, you know what I mean, that we've witnessed in the last few years, you don't jump on the phone and brag about it before you even have pled out, before you have even been exonerated, been found not guilty. You know, Suge, I've heard a lot of rumors about what Suge has done over the years, you guys. I've heard a lot of rumors about him even paying Orlando Anderson, that was his name, right? Not to show up in court. The guy who allegedly took Tupac out, paying that guy. Believe me, that shit burns me up as a hip hop fan, as a what do they call us? As a hip hop influencer, that shit burns me up inside to hear shit like that about a man actually going and getting the guy who took out the greatest to ever do it to testify on his behalf. Shit like that is whack. George says, no offense from a fan point. I always hated Suge. And you're not the only one. You're not the only one, George. A lot of fans have been conditioned to hate Suge Knight. At one point, people looked at Suge and Death Row as a real family. You know what I mean? Just by the way that the whole picture was with all of them, with all four of them all together. You looked at Death Row as a family. You looked at it as a real unit, and just to see the way that they went through their demise is just kind of like it's the fall of a dynasty. It's the demise of a dynasty that we thought was going to be running hip hop, because they had the hottest rappers. They had the part-time rapper with Dre and the producer, and then they had every hot group that was going to come under them, from the Dog Pound. They were even signing MC Hammer. You know what I mean? They were doing all types of crazy production. Suge Knight was on his 50 Cent shit. Steve says, so Wack knew all along, so he was harboring a rat. Wack 100 harboring a rat. Well, yo, this kind of doesn't date back as far as you're thinking, Steve. This only dates back as far as Suge Knight actually being in jail, and there was a couple different key points where Wack 100 was thrown off by Suge. One of the key points is when they had a recording of Bone, who was saying all types of crazy shit, but it actually involved many other people. And Wack he refused to use it. Suge wanted to use that. That was definitely a chink in the armor right there. But also, Suge Knight doing all these public speakings, all these interviews where he's revealing all types of information that's not ideal to actually helping his case. Even further than that, jumping on recorded phones and saying all types of crazy shit. You know what I mean? Suge Knight is kind of dry snitching when he puts the situation out there, when he tells the situation directly. You know what I mean? Because he's not a civilian. He's not a civilian. Suge Knight has been running with some of the most ruthless people in the game. You know what I'm saying? Even all the way back to when he was rolling with Easy. He's been rolling with some of the most ruthless people in the game, you guys. So Suge Knight has a reputation. He has a reputation, which I've explained a few times on this show tonight, is one of the leading factors in why he's gotten such a heavy sentence. He was even going through a whole situation with Cat Williams, just prior to this. And it's like, what does he think it's sweet? What does he think it's sweet or something? Sir, you don't have as much money as you did at one point. You're not worth $30 million anymore, to where you've got this and you can handle that and you can go through this case and you can burn through this amount of money with this lawyer and you can pay this person off. It's not that situation anymore, man. It's not that situation for you anymore. N4L says Suge wasn't a real banger. Right. He surrounded himself with real bangers. Suge was that guy who went to college. Suge played ball. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say he wasn't a real dude, because after everything didn't go right for him, he jumped right back into that shit. You know what I'm saying? And he found his way. and he found his way in the game. You know what I mean? And he found his way to creating a record label that is, as Bonds was telling me the other day, he's like, man, when you think of the greatest record labels of all time, one of the first labels that comes to your mind is Death Row. And he's right about that. He is 100% right about that. So Suge Knight has that claim. Suge Knight has that claim. Now, when it comes to the film, I think he's a little bit late, you guys. When it comes to the film, I think he's a little bit late because we've seen it depicted a few times now. You know what I mean? Hell, even in the Michelet joint, right? She was rocking with Easy and them. Yeah, she was rocking with Easy with them for a second. Might have even been a little bit of that. And the Michelet movie wasn't bad. The Michelet movie was not bad, you guys. But listen, let me check my notes real quick. See if there's anything else in here I want to go over. You know, I got to bring it to you guys uncut. Wow. All right. So this is kind of what I was talking about in regard to the movies. So in 2000, damn. When he came home in 2001, when Suge came home in 2001, he was basically broke, Wack said. And when they took on the management for PD Pablo, and so they took on management for PD Pablo. Who remembers that? Who remembers Suge Knight and PD Pablo? I got to light one up for this because Suge gets out of jail relatively broke, which I don't understand. Guy gets out of jail in 2001. How the hell is he broke? I mean, I guess he's not the rapper. You know what I mean? He's not the producer. He's just the guy who puts out the money for it all. You know what I mean? Freak a leak. And he had the North Carolina. Two different songs, right, George? Because me and my partner C's were talking about it earlier today. So he comes back. He takes on management with PD Pablo, seemingly beginning to put Death Row back together, maybe even at that point known as the Row, which is spelled T-H-A, not D-A, T-H-A, the Row. Excuse Wack 100 for saying it was D-A. But anyways, that's Mikey T's hip-hop lesson for the moment. It was the Row, not da Row. Anyways, Vibrations 2. Okay. All right, George. Thanks for pointing that out. So Suge came back. He got PD Pablo, which is like, I don't understand what he's doing. But in another light, it's like, okay, at least Suge Knight has actually attached himself. At least, Tanya, Google that and see how old Suge Knight is for all of us, what year he was born. But at least he had attached himself to PD Pablo. I was impressed by it. I'm not going to lie, guys. I was impressed by Suge actually being able to attach himself to PD Pablo. But it was like, why? It was like, why? Why would he do that? Why wouldn't he just go for somebody else? So I guess at this point, I'm like, Suge Knight still has the ability to attach himself to an artist. So he attaches himself to PD Pablo, and then he actually gets the opportunity to do the Dysfunctional Family soundtrack, which was a soundtrack for a Eddie Griffin stand-up. Eddie, hold on, I always get his name wrong. Eddie Griffin, yep. It was an Eddie Griffin stand-up comedy called The Dysfunctional Family, which Suge Knight did the soundtrack for. That shit really wasn't that anticipated, and it was actually, from what I've read, a major flop. Let me bring it up. Let me bring it up, see if we can actually get some sales. I want to say it was released by E1. I'm going to let you know. Yeah, no, actually, this is when Suge Knight moved to Priority. Suge Knight had moved to Priority. I believe Daz Dillinger was pretty much running shit at that point. But let's see who they got on this. So they got Crooked Eye and Virginia Slim. Y'all definitely know Crooked Eye, but you might remember Virginia Slim. They had Corrupt. Danny Boy was still rocking with them. Eastwood, as I've spoken of before. I'm a Gangster with Juvenile, Skip, and Young Buck, as I talked about earlier, with Suge Knight actually flying them out. Who Wants to F Tonight, Crooked Eye, Danny Boy, Ja Rule on there. So they got Ja Rule. They got an Ashanti record. They actually got an Ashanti record on the Dysfunctional Family soundtrack. They got Michelet on there. They got Spider Loc on there. Nina, who is Left Eye, was on a record with Danny Boy called Two Street, produced by, I guess, the Row Hitters. Weird. Okay. Then they had I Thought You Knew, but with Crooked Eyed Eastwood, Danny Boy, and Eddie Griffin. And then Dysfunctional with Spider Loc and Eddie Griffin. So that's interesting right there. So the Billboard 200 peaking at number 95 on the Billboard 200. So this album definitely tanked. Let me see. Before this, they had done the gang-related soundtrack, also with Priority, in 1997, and that actually did a few more units. I believe that actually went platinum. It peaked at the soundtrack peaked at number 2. Yeah, so this actually moved some units compared to their next soundtrack because Death Row was doing that soundtrack shit. Death Row was doing that soundtrack shit. That's actually how they attracted the attention of guys like Pac and Snoop, through that soundtrack money they were getting. So, damn, this Dysfunctional Family actually seemed like a last ditch effort to actually make something of their company. And I believe that was their last release while at Priority Records. SBS, are you talking about the documentary that Antoine Fuqua did with Suge Knight? 1965, Suge Knight was born. That would make him 35 in 2000, and then 55 in 2020, and 57 in 2022. No, it was Tanya. It was 2015 when he was locked up, I believe. Yeah, he's like 56, 57 years. He'll be 57 years old next year. So he's looking at getting out when he's like 75. He is looking at getting out when he's 75 years old, you guys. Suge has had a lot of different complications. We heard about blood clots, stuff with his vision, so Snoop Dogg, why do I keep saying Snoop Dogg? It's because I really put them guys so much together, but Snoop Dogg went from Suge to Master P to his own boss. Yeah, George, that's one thing that Wack was saying. Wack was like, yo, why didn't you just get out the car? Why didn't you just get out the car, take your fade, win, lose, or draw? Prior to that, we had seen Suge knocked out on the ground, scuffling with cameramen. Why not get out the car and face the fact of what's going on rather than peeling off, and now you've lost 30 years of your life. And now you've lost 30 years of your life because you didn't want to step outside the car and just face what was coming. Whatever issue you had with Bone, whether it had something to do with Dre or it had to do with some pre-existing situation that the two of you guys had. I'm not really sure what was going on between the two of them because, like I said, I pretty much only know Bone from that one scene in Training Day. I only knew Bone from the one scene in Training Day. You know what I mean? It was, the scene really caught me because it was right after Denzel Washington was like, I'm going to put cases on all you bitches. Yeah. He's like, I'm going to put cases on all you bitches. And then he goes, yeah, that's right. Y'all ain't going to do nothing to me. And then he goes over to pick up the gun and Ethan Hawke shoots him in the ass. And then he's like, shot me in the ass. And then dude, Bone comes over and picks up the gun and he's like, you good. You good. And then he starts walking away. What a dope scene. George, I don't know, man. Yeah, Tanya. That shit was funny as hell when Denzel was like, King Kong ain't got shit on me. King Kong ain't got shit on me. Guys, too funny, man. That role, that was Denzel Washington's first role as a villain, man. Love that shit, man. I know there's going to be a meme tomorrow. There's going to be a meme tomorrow. Somebody's going to have it, and they're going to be like, it's going to be Mikey T. I'm going to put cases on all you bitches. They're going to come up with a vlog of Mikey T like that. I'm going to put cases on all you bitches. I don't care. Promotion is promotion, man. Promotion is promotion, man. If anybody wants to promote me, I appreciate it. No, Mikey. The part in Training Day when Denzel said shoe program. Pelican Bay. Yo, man, what you got to figure out? What are you, a wolf? Are you a sheep? Oh, oh, oh! Ow, ow, ow! Remember Denzel's lips was like that too. Like, ow, ow! Come on, do it, man. Let me hear your wolf. Let me hear your wolf. Ow, ow! Come on, y'all. Let me hear your wolf. That shit was crazy when Denzel pulled the car over and he's like, you got to figure out if you're a wolf or if you're a sheep. Because I ain't going to be out here. He's like, I could have you back out there cutting tickets tomorrow on the freeway. Movie was classic. Movie was definitely classic, man. Love that movie, man. Ethan Hawke could have went on to do some better shit. He was actually nominated for Best Supporting Actor off of that. Yeah, Denzel played the hell out of that. Yep. Eva Mendes is in that movie too. Yep, Eva Mendes is in there. She plays Denzel Washington's side chick, and they actually have a kid together. That's his side chick, right? Or is that his main thing? Is that his main thing, or is it side chick? It looked like she could make hella good food, too. Yo, 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 Double G, back in action with us, my guy. Mikey T, my boy, God bless you, my bro, and happy holidays. Yo, Double G, I appreciate you for tapping in, and I hope you enjoy your new year, man. Turn up for the new year, have a good time. Enjoy yourself, man. Same with everybody else in here, man. And listen, if anybody's not following me on the gram, listen, if any of y'all are not following me on the gram, I'm going to follow everybody back right now. Everybody that follows me, I'm going to follow y'all back right now. And Double G, I hear you, man. Bonds is actually just getting over that as well, man. Jason Sinatra says Dr. Dre. Follow for a follow. I'm going to pin it up right now. Everybody that follows me, I'm going to follow y'all back. That's right. I show love. I'm going to show love to everybody that shows love to me, man. You know how I do, man. I don't slack on the follow back. You know, I like to stay tapped in with all the fans, all my supporters. I like to make sure y'all know what content I'm dropping. I like to make sure y'all give suggestions. If I have an upcoming interview, I'm going to interview somebody. I like to tap in on a live and get some suggestions, or post a picture on the gram to get some suggestions of questions and shit like that. You know, I've done a bunch of interviews this year that I'm proud of. I'm going to release several of them in full format. I'm going to release several of them in full format for the remainder of the year. Just proud of a lot of the work that I've done this year, man. A lot of the fans that I've made, a lot of the followers that have tuned in on a regular basis, man. What's that, man? Underdog, what's that about, George? Okay. I got you, bro. I'm about to follow you back. Like I said, everybody that follows me, I'm gonna follow y'all back. I didn't know you liked to hit that shit. Hit that shit, man. I didn't know you like to get wet. What did you just give me, man? I'm going to get tested, man. I'm going to get tested tomorrow, man. Nah, man. Nah, I know when your test is coming. I'm gonna make sure they get your blood. I'm gonna make sure they get a sample of your blood. All right, I'm gonna follow you back too, SBS. Definitely appreciate you, man. Side chick, yo, that girl could cook though, man. Yo, I would have loved to. You know what? Sometimes when you're watching a movie and you're like, damn, you're like, uh, damn, I'd like to eat some of that food that Eva Mendes made. Nah, bro, I wasn't in that movie. The homie right here is telling me I should see it. Wow. So it's called Underdog. It's a documentary or a movie, and it's out. I'll check it out. I was thinking about checking out that Michael B. Jordan film about Michael Jordan, but I'm just not completely sold on it because I don't know what it is. I haven't seen any marketing promotion for it yet. If it is a straight up film about Michael Jordan, I'd be more than interested in watching that, you guys. If it's kind of like a documentary mixed in with scenes, like I'm not all that interested in seeing that. Like I'll pass. Like I'll pass on that, to be honest with you. I'll pass on watching this thing where Michael B. Jordan plays him half the time. I just watched the Michael Jackson movie too. Like I thought they could have done a real better job with that, sort of like the Queen movie or the Elton John movie. Which movie with Sandra Bullock are you talking about? Are you talking about the Unforgivable, the movie she just did? That was okay. I just watched that. Okay, there's two movies named that. Hmm. Underrated? Which one are you talking about, man? What a show tonight. Interview Wack 100. Nah, I'm straight on that, man. Wack 100 does enough talking on Clubhouse. I don't know if Wack, well, who knows? Maybe Wack 100 will come on the show in the future. You know what I mean? Maybe Wack 100 will come on the show in the future. We'll have to see. We'll have to see about that, man. You know what I mean? We'll have to see about that. You know, I got a whole lot of new plans for interviews this year. Whole lot of plans for interviews this year. Whole lot of plans just for taking the content and the channel to the next level. You know what I mean? Now that I'm on here, we're talking free, we're educating each other. The sky's the limit. The sky's the limit on this shit, man. You know what I mean? We're about to go to the whole next level this year. 2022. 2022 is fitting to be a big year, baby. We finna do big things in 2022, y'all. But I'm gonna open it up, man. We're gonna do some open questions. Open questions from all of y'all. And just something I want to tell you guys about. I was talking to the guys, I was talking to the hip hop guys, and we were thinking about doing a night where we can have the viewers actually come in and talk with us. We'll bring the viewers in. I'm thinking maybe anybody who donates $10 on Super Chat, you guys can come in and we can actually have probably 10 to 15 guests per night to tap in with a topic. And then we can answer it as the hip hop guys. Just an idea I was thinking, just so we could have some of the fans tap in on an episode weekly, because I do want to interact with the people more and see what everybody is talking about in the culture. It's kind of like I'm likening it to, when people go to the club, when artists go to the club to check out the music so they can hear the vibes of what's going on and what type of style they're going to be recording. Okay, that's what's up. Oh, yep. The Blind Side with Sandra Bullock. I saw that. I saw that. That was a good movie. Sandra Bullock is pretty great. All of her movies, probably besides that one, Speed 2. Was she even in? Was she in Speed 2? Yeah, Speed 2 sucked. And that movie All About Steve with Bradley Cooper. Two movies that are not that great from her. Other than that, she's pretty dope. Open questions. And that movie that Sandra Bullock did called The Heat with Melissa McCarthy, absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I might smoke a couple blunts and whatnot. I gotta watch The Matrix because I'm doing my Matrix binge because I gotta watch The Matrix Resurrections, you guys, or what the fourth one. Um, Facts. She can cook. Yeah, that food looked good as hell in Training Day, man. You know, sometimes when you're watching a movie, you just want to eat the that I just sometimes when you're watching the movie, you just want to eat the booty. No, nah, man. I am a Eva Mendes fan, but nah. When sometimes when you're watching a movie, you just want to eat some of the food that's actually in the movie. Oh shit, Double G, that's a good idea. He said you should get some Young Money artists like Lil Chucky. I actually interviewed Little Chucky in the past. We had linked when I was in Florida, my guy. I did an interview with Little Chucky. Type in Mikey T the movie star Little Chucky. You can go check that joint out. Yeah, go check it out. Mikey T the movie star Jay Mills. I've done several interviews with Jay Mills, man. That's my guy right there. One of the that guy smokes the best weed, yo. Jay Mills smokes the best weed. I will not lie. Do you have a podcast, Mikey T? If not, would you be interested in starting one? Well, this is me getting ready for my podcast, bro. My podcast pretty much is going to be, me coming on here talking about hip hop. I got one that I do with the guys, the Hip Hop Guys podcast with SV Twiz, Bond Simmons, and Rosewood. You know what I'm saying? But also, I look at these as my podcast. I go on for about 3 hours. I'm getting ready, whether I get a radio deal, whether they hire me to come up to Shade 45, Sirius Radio, which would be an awesome opportunity. You know what I mean? Or if I get some other deal with XM Radio, or you know what I mean, like, or anything like that, man. Even a podcast opportunity with one of these guys like Charlemagne or Spotify or Gilly with Barstool would be amazing. Even Nori, something along those lines. I would definitely be up for it. But I'm getting myself ready with my YouTube channel here. What's my IG? My IG is actually tagged. If you want to follow me on the gram, my Instagram is actually tagged up there, my dude. And I will shoot you the follow back immediately. But right now, guys, we are at the open questions portion of the podcast. Schizo, we're going to start doing it. We are a weekly show just dedicated to bringing the artist on. And we're going to bring 10 to 15 artists on every episode. And all they got to do to get on is do a $10 super chat. Yep. We're going to do that every single week. We're going to bring on the live viewers so we can get an idea of what everybody is feeling when it comes to hip hop, what everybody's watching, what everybody's thinking, what everybody wants to see. We got to get all of the information out of all the viewers because honestly, that's what we all are. We are the viewers. We are the viewers, the reviewers. We are the people coming, to determine, what the thoughts are. Who do you think it was that was determining when the source gave somebody 5 mics? You know what I mean? When double XL gives the L, the XL, the double XL. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that is determined by us, the fans, the viewers, you guys. We are an important part of this industry. That's why several of us have gone on to launch things like Dave Mays launching the source. You know what I'm saying? Like the launch of all the Q with World Star Hip Hop. You know what I mean? Like this is what we're talking about, you guys. But yeah, this is the open question portion of the podcast. Great show today. Never really would have thought somebody would have called Suge Knight out for snitching. But honestly, Suge is all over these interviews saying kind of crazy shit that we wouldn't expect Suge Knight to be saying. I'm just pointing that out there. You know what I mean? The guy cried wolf. You know what I mean? Now he's on there saying some shit about Bone. Come on, man. Come on, Suge. Leave that shit to your lawyers, man. Leave that shit to the lawyers. No, I never interviewed Killer Mike, bro. I don't think I've ever been in the vicinity of Killer Mike either. I don't think so. Matrix is lit. I'm looking forward to it. Need that Oskino interview when you get a podcast, Mikey. I've actually done an interview with Oskino where we touched on a lot of things, man. Just type it in Mikey T, the movie star, Oskino, and it'll pop up. I got 2 different parts of my interview with him out. So check that out if you really want to see what I've done with Oskino in the past. Okay, that's lit, Mark. That's lit, Mark. He says, I was with a group called the Owl Block, signed to Too Short on the nationwide Independence Day album, Paper Chase. That's lit, man. That's dope. Mikey T is really the start of new media. That's right. This is new media, baby. New media. And I appreciate you, Marcus, man. And thank you for sharing some of that information with us. Marcus was in a group called Owl Block, and they were actually on a gold and platinum album. That's pretty dope, man. You're gonna have to come back and tap in with us, man. I don't know if you followed me on the gram, but I'll definitely follow you back, man. It's an honor to have you in the chat, man. That's lit. Too Short, definitely one of the artists that paved the way. I mean, even French was just talking about Too Short. You know what I mean? What they did to pay homage to him in the video with Drake recently. So yeah, Too Short is somebody that gets a whole lot of respect in my book. But yeah, tonight was lit, you guys. The show was awesome. Really appreciate coming on here. Last night we had it going crazy. Tonight we had another great show. Right now it's the open questions portion. So I'm going to finish my Red Bull while I wait for a couple more open questions. No super chat necessary. I mean, if you want to send in a super chat, by all means, support the channel. But the more important way to support the channel is by telling a friend about what I'm doing. That's the more important way to support the channel. Letting the community know about Mikey T, the movie star. And sometimes some of the people that you talk to, they might even have seen some of my content, man. It might give you a little bit of something to talk to somebody about in the culture. But I appreciate everybody spreading awareness about who I am, what I've done, what I'm currently doing to change the culture, to make it better. You know what I mean? To help the everyday person identify with the artist that much easier. That's really why I'm here, you guys. That's lit, man. Jeez, that's lit, man. Sounds like a good one right there. Santana. That's lit. That's lit. Good idea, man. Good idea, man. Definitely a good idea. A dance? They want Mikey T to do a dance. I'm gonna have to get. I was just talking to Soldier Boy's artist, Bino, Hood Trophy Bino. We're gonna have to get Bino on the channel. I was just talking to I was just hollering at him about an interview actually. It was dope. The little story he got with Soldier Boy is pretty dope. I wanted to share it with y'all about how he ran into Soldier apparently in jail. And Soldier told him, yo, I'm gonna sign you when you get out of jail. And Soldier kept his word. I found that really respectable from Soldier Boy, man. That's something that I actually respect. When somebody actually keeps their word, when somebody shows the true colors of who they are, and that's a good character, not showing the true colors, and then it's like, damn. I always thought there was something shisty about that guy. You know what I mean? It's like when somebody shows their true colors and they show how good of a person they are, that's when that's that shit. And you could see that with whatever the hell I was just talking about. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I appreciate y'all for tapping in tonight, man. We had a great episode. I carried it, as they say. Y'all tuned in. We had one of the hip hop guys tap in, Bond Simmons. Sorry, I'm not familiar with that dance, man. What did Fat Joe say? I don't dance. I just no. I just lean back. No. What's the other guy with the? We just walk around the metal detectors. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you tuning in tonight. I'm smoking on some of this ooh la la right now. I'm finishing this blunt of ooh la la. This shit is great. I'm doing the pancakes tonight afterwards, though. I'm doing the pancakes. Damon, what's up, King? What's up with you, Damon? Nah, man, we were just sort of reacting to Wack 100 and Suge Knight going at it. Wack 100 and Suge Knight were going at it pretty much over interviews that have been dropping as of late. Suge Knight spoke about Wack 100 in a different kind of light. You know what I mean? He was asked some questions where he could have put Wack 100 down 100%. He was asking some questions where Suge could have really disrespected Wack, but I don't think he had much to disrespect Wack about. But Wack actually chimed in at a whole nother portion of the interview when Suge Knight was talking about Bone. Got to be on that drinking my two-step. Drinking my two-step. Mikey be on that drinking my two-step wave. Hopefully that's not Mikey be on that drinking my two-step wave. Hopefully that's not what's keeping the labels away. They be like, damn, what's Mikey doing today? I think he's wavy today. That's what the labels probably be like. They be like, damn, Mikey T, we ain't signing a problem. We've already did that. We've already did that a few times. We ain't doing that shit again. But you know what, man? I'm cool on the underground. I'm cool on the underground, man. I'm cool on the underground. We straight down here underground. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with the underground. Some of my favorite artists released albums that are the most classic when they were on the underground. I'm talking about 50 Cent, Power of the Dollar. I'm talking about Dead Prez on the underground. I'm talking about Mobb Deep on Loud. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about shit like that. You know what I mean? Having the artistic creativity to do whatever you want. I'm talking about Max B on Amalgam Digital, baby. You know what I mean? When you got 95% creative control. That's the type of shit we're on over here. I'm talking about Kevin Gates when you can literally jump on your Instagram and say anything you want and then come out and sell 94,000 first week. Yo, Double G, I am an A&R, bro. I am an A&R, man. Done had artists over at Maybach Music and shit. Done worked side by side with Scott Storch. You know what I mean? Bringing him back to the music industry. Worked with several other people, you know what I mean? Campaigning and shit. I have been an A&R, my G. You know what I'm saying? I've done mad shit over the years. Mikey T, the king of CT. We go OT for the interview. Smoke a Dutch, get in the mood. They call me the interview god, killing these hoes with the dad bod. Damn, you just killed me. Yeah, that's right. Underground, bro. We're just gonna keep it underground. There ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? It's a blessing that Gilly the Kid was able to come out of being an underground artist, you know what I mean, and then become so mainstream of what he's doing right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm one of those people who firmly believe Gilly should have been the biggest artist in the game. You know, either like 50 Cent, Interscope type shit, or that Cash Money look. Or that Cash Money look. Either of those. Like when I was actually comparing Gilly and Joe, you know, I was telling Gilly, I was like, but you were supposed to be the artist that was like the biggest thing in the game. Joe Budden is one of the Nas like artists to me, personally. Just how I felt about it, man. That's no shade at Joe Budden. Like I said, I just put him in the caliber of Nas. I just put Joe Budden in the same caliber as Nas, you guys. You know, there's different calibers when you got Nas and you got 50 Cent. You know what I mean? It's different caliber of MCs. Like Gilly has proved how he's taking over the game right now. He's got the hottest podcast in the game and one of the hottest brands repping his podcast. I could only imagine what's next for them, Gilly and Wallow, man. These two guys, I'm so proud of what they're doing. I try to tell Gilly that anytime I get the chance, you know what I mean? I try to tell Gilly that anytime I get the chance, the way he reinvented himself, in the game, so impressive. You know what I mean? So impressive. Anybody who counted Gilly out was stupid. I was on my way driving to Philly. Anytime Gilly would be cool with doing an interview. 5 hours there, 5 hours back. Gilly showed me a lot of love. He says I showed him a lot of love, which is crazy. You know what I mean? Which is crazy. That's awesome. Damn. 416. You are so mad that you got nobody watching your shit. Damn. You is really upset about that, huh, bro? Guy logs on, has like 2 people watching. He's like, oh, man. Let me go make fun of Mikey T. You're not the first one. You won't be the last, man. I mean, hey, man, George, we all got our own opinions, man. I'm gonna put him in the Nas caliber artist with those mood music projects, man. The mood music joints. I'm gonna put him in the Nas caliber of MC. Because he wasn't really going to be that superstar pump it up. You know, he wasn't going to be that guy. I don't even really know how he was going to follow that up if that was bigger than it was. What was he going to be, a party rapper? You know what I mean? Pump It Up wasn't no in the club. You know what I mean? It was kind of the wrong way for him to get started. But you know, like obviously, you know, when we talk about Nas, we think about like Street Dreams, How I Made It, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not talking about that. Obviously, Nas had some of the biggest songs, you know what I mean? Commercial songs on his albums. I Can, you know what I mean? One Mic, a little bit different, but he had a lot. If I Ruled the World, he had a lot of mainstream appealing songs. I'm not talking about those records. Yeah, George, I appreciate you for respecting my opinion. You know, like I was telling the guys on the Hip Hop Guys podcast, I was like, yo, it's cool that we all have different opinions. You know, like Bonds wants to see the Suge Knight movie. I don't know why they're making it. Twiz says he would see it as a show, but also finds interest in it. Rosewood, you know, has his opinion. So it's, you know, everybody having a different opinion. That's what makes the game work. You know what I mean? That's what makes these hip hop pages work as well. Everybody's sharing different, like it's like movie reviews. It's like history being detailed, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Going on YouTube, you got to bring something different to the game. Lyricism. I get where you're going with it. Yeah. Yeah, man. Even though, as you kind of pointed out, Nas really had a lot more songs that the everyday person would know. Nas had a lot more songs that the everyday person would know, as I just listed about 5 of them that were probably all platinum. And I didn't say the street joint. You know what I mean? I didn't say the street joint because I was trying to mention like those records where Nas was kind of like, really, like appealing to a different audience, but also doing it lyrically. I gotta roll up another blunt after this shit. But yeah, yep, hip hop debates. That's why I was saying right when I got on here, this is gonna be one of the big hip hop debates. This is gonna be one of the big hip hop debates. Whack 100 and Suge Knight. Another thing that I'm not really gonna touch on tonight is the debate of where death row lies in the greatest. We're not gonna touch on to that tonight. We're gonna get on that on another day, maybe tomorrow or the next day, but we're going to get on that because another controversial statement was made that I want to address. But we're not focused in on that tonight. Just like last night, we were focused on Dre and Snoop. Tonight, we're focused on Wack exposing Suge Knight. Everybody's saying Wack exposed him, so I was like, I'm going to run with that. We'll run with the whole exposing thing since everybody wants to use it. Wack exposing Suge for this, exposing Suge for that. Like Wack 100 is just at the point of his career where he is relevant. As I said earlier, there was a point where I was more popular than Wack 100. But Wack is just at the point right now where he is more relevant. He is the one who is brokering deals. Like that film company said, listen, Wack, we don't want to do business with Suge. We don't want to do business with Suge. Listen, this is bad business. Just bring us the next one. They still want to do business with Wack, though. Why? Because he hasn't gone and been the boy who cried wolf 8 times, 12 times. You know what I mean? It's still believable when Wack 100 brings it to the table. If he keeps on doing these Suge Knight deals where people have really already sold their material, though, he could start looking bad to the industry. Now, has Wack 100 really touched the levels that Suge touched? We're going to have to touch that in another episode, you guys. Uh, Mood music was classics, exactly. Yep. But we're gonna touch on that in the next episode, you guys. The whole the measuring stick of hip hop, if you will, where people lie when it comes to relevancy in the history of hip hop. Like I said earlier, Bonds told me, he's like, when you think of the greatest, you know what I mean? When you think of the greatest names in hip hop, or the greatest labels, excuse me, Death Row is one of the first labels that comes to your mind. And that is without a doubt the truth. But we're going to have to touch on that in another episode, you guys, because right now we're on the open question portions. We're pretty much done with the show. And that is a heavy topic right there. George says, Mikey, where do you hold Most Def in the hip hop game? I put him right there alongside the guys like Talib Kweli. I put him kind of a different, similar range to the Dead Prez. You know what I'm saying? To these type of acts. Let me think. Uh, but Most Def, honestly, I have not been the biggest Most Def fan. I'm more of a Talib Kweli guy, especially around the time that Talib was reportedly interested in signing with G Unit. I always felt like that was an interesting look to see G Unit actually deal with a conscious rapper. Most Def, I became more interested in as he started jumping into film. When Most Def actually jumped into, he had done this movie called Be Kind Rewind with Jack Black. So that's when I really thought he was actually going to start making a name for himself in film. But that movie really wasn't as successful as a lot of the companies made it out like it was going to be. Jack Black was hot then, right around the time of Shallow Hal, Orange County, so Be Kind Rewind. I don't know if you guys ever see it. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but Be Kind Rewind was about these guys who owned a video store and they accidentally erased all the videos some way with a magnet. Back in the day, if you like put a magnet or something on a tape, it would screw it up. So they had to re-record all the classic movies that they had in the store, like Ghostbusters and shit like that. Pretty funny. Most Def, Mikey, do your homework. He's fire. Yeah, man. I wasn't the biggest conscious rapper fan. You know what I mean? When Common had come out with the B album, I wasn't really so much into Common. I didn't know when they did the Corners with Kanye West. I really wasn't so much into that. Just to be 100% honest with you guys, man. I really didn't play into that whole little faction right there. Um, I just didn't find much interest in Kanye West doing Common's album either. So all the speculation and of him, doing all that, I just really wasn't interested in it. I'm just being honest from the question, man. Tanya asked, "Where do you put Jay Z?" I put Jay Z right in the number four spot for greatest hip hop artist of all time. Pac, Big, X, J, M, I guess. Yeah, M, Nas, 50 was 50 next. Yeah, Wayne, you know what I'm saying? T.I. No, 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 I can't put T.I. there. I do love T.I.'s history, but I can't put T.I. there. Italian Job. What were you saying about the Italian Job? Oh yeah, yeah. Most Def was in the Italian Job as well. Yeah, I really had high hopes for him in the acting, which is I'm like, oh shit. Most Def didn't really catch me when it came to the music, because it was, a different style than really what I was used to. You know what I mean? I kind of came up as a poor kid in low income housing and shit like that. Always getting in fights and shit, in school and shit like that. Always getting suspended and shit like that. And that just really wasn't my style of music. My brother had me listening to the DMX albums, and you know what I'm saying? That's kind of I was rocking with Jadakiss, and I was rocking with shit like that until 50 Cent had come out in 2003. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like Jay-Z, obviously, Eminem, Dr. Dre, like I said, the Snoop Dogg in the 2001, that kind of like really was some of my favorite shit back then. Busta Rhymes was cool, bro. Busta Rhymes was cool, but he was just really different. You know what I mean? Like when he had that video with he had all those different videos, man. They were like one video where all the metallic shit was dripping all over the place with him and Janet Jackson. Another video where it looked like they were in the safari or something like that. Like that just really wasn't my vibe, just to be 100% honest with you. Most Def was funny in Brown Sugar. Yeah, Most Def. Busta Rhymes really isn't on the list that I was just saying to you, man. I'm really actually sorry to say that Busta Rhymes is not on the top hip hop list for me. Might have to reevaluate that though, man. Outcast comes up on that list. So what do we got? We got Jadakiss and Lloyd Banks, both definitely dope. Um, let me see. So we got Pac, Big, Pac, Big, X, DMX, Jay Z, Eminem, Nas, 50 Cent, Lil Wayne, Outkast. Oh, Snoop. Snoop. 10, Snoop. No, no Kid and Play on there. No Kid and Play on there. Yeah, SBS, you're right. In retrospect, you're right. But the little Thug Life Mikey T, the little hood Mikey T wasn't really into that shit, man. I'll just be real with you, man. The little thug Mikey T, the Mikey T who, you know what I mean, who was going through all the shit, getting in fights all the time with older kids, you know what I mean, protecting my older brother and shit. That I wasn't really into that shit, man. Well, let me see. Hold on. You see, what year did that release? That actually released in 2005. So yeah, I was still on the same shit by 2005, except I had actually moved to a whole nother area, a better area. My grandparents had come and actually got me out of that horrendous area that my mom had us all living in when we was younger and shit. Um, but then I remember 2005 really because the next year was like the best summer ever. I guess I had to just be like starting high school right then, but I was still like obviously not into that. I was more into G Unit. I was more into, you know what I mean, D Block. I was, Jadakiss and all that. I was more into Dead Prez. I was into the gangster shit, man. You know what I mean? I was really into that. The Hood era was popping too. Mad Skills. Mad Skills was slept on back in the day. KRS-One, Big Daddy Kane, Rakim. Yeah, all the OGs, man. I actually got the chance to interview Ali Vegas, which was dope. He gave me a great story. He gave me a lot of game on his life and his career, man. Yeah, man. But yeah, the show was dope, man. The show was dope tonight, man. We always get a lot of extra information out on the podcast so you guys can learn a little bit more about me. You know what I mean? That's what this whole thing is about as a host. You know what I mean? You got to be transparent. You got to let the people know about you. They got to be able to identify with you as you're talking about everything going on. You know what I mean? This whole situation, I think it impacts a lot of us, who are either going to be watching the Suge Knight film that comes out in the next few years if it ends up getting made, or that have already watched previous Suge Knight documentaries, or people that are just watching Wack 100's career evolve as he moves into being one of the most prominent people on the internet, as well as one of the hottest managers in the game. Sort of similar to Treyway Shoddy, who had really, started branding and remarketing artists and getting them back on their feet. I mean, Treyway did a lot of shit. Treyway did a lot of shit for a lot of artists, and now it looks like Wack 100 is doing the same. So it's dope to see new. I was gonna say young. I mean young in terms of how long they've actually been known to the industry, but actually getting a chance to really move the needle. You know what I'm saying? Getting an opportunity to actually move the needle and prove who they are. But we're about to get out of here, you guys. We're about to call it a night. I definitely appreciate everybody tapping in. I definitely appreciate. I don't know the answer to that, Tanya. I mean, I would have to go in and really look at some facts. But I had spoke about in 2005 when the game came out. I didn't really know who he was. But I'm about to go. I hope everybody is enjoying their night. I thank you all for tuning in with me tonight. George, that's love, bro. Thanks for tuning in. Like I always say, y'all are the best audience. Y'all are the best hip hop fan base. And you know what? We will see you all on the next episode. Hey, guys, if you haven't seen my new interview with Skinny Me, go check that shit out right now. You dig? Salute.